Can you hurry this up?
Shut up, soccer.
Backhand you, son.
Hey, hey, what's going on, guys? It's RDX podcast, Real Deal Xbox podcast, back again. Another, well, not Tuesday. We're actually live on Wednesday today. It's kind of odd, we know, but you know, things are going on in the world. We don't like to really talk about it on the show. This is your escape. It's my escape. You know, while there will be some references that we never really harp on the stuff because, again, everyone kind of knows what's going on, and our hearts go out to everybody that's going through stuff, and be careful out there. All right. So, again, guys, welcome to Real Deal Xbox podcast. Everyone join us live. Thank you so much. Hit that like button, share it out, boys. Helps out a little bit. We got a phenomenal panel as well as a great set of topics. Tim Dog couldn't be here today, but we do have a fill-in, and this guy's a legend, been around forever, and we do appreciate him stopping by. We had a ton of great guests on the show, and this is yet another one. We're going to do some introductions, some shout-outs. We'll get into and ramp up those topics, and thank you all for tuning in. Colt Eastwood, how you been, buddy?
Really good. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be here.
Backhand.
Wednesday feels like a Tuesday.
All right. Also, we've got D-Batch, buddy. How you been?
Good, man. I'm good. Good to on the show here, get your mind off of things that are going on in the world today. I will say I was playing before we got on the air. I believe it's called Kart Rider. Is that the game? It's like a Mario Kart kind of spin-off.
Who's
I think
Mario?
it's pretty good. Mario. Mario. It's a Mario Kart ripoff.
All right, so you're playing Mario Kart.
Yeah, I actually have an extra code, so somewhere along the show, I'll probably drop it in the chat for the Xbox One.
Dropping megatons in the chat. D-Batch, he never lets us down. Fonzarelli, how you been, buddy?
I am here.
Creator of irrelevant videos the day they come out. Bonzarelli.
I am here, though. I am here. Yes, you know what? Yeah, I put out a video. I held it off for in observance of yesterday's situation and everything, and I held it out for today. And unfortunately, it was changed today, the information. But you know, I pinned a comment there. It is what it is. It happens.
You covered what you think will happen at this event. The day of the event just changed. That's it, right? So
yeah, that's it.
It's still a great video, man. Keep up the good work. We've also got Zalker87. How you been, buddy?
Pretty good. Just got back from work, ready to talk some games. And all this good stuff. Hey, man, I just had a mouthful
What
of
are you
popcorn.
snacking on,
Really
buddy?
good.
Popcorn?
Popcorn, yeah. Popcorn's a great snack.
At least it's not Wheaties like Colt Eastwood in the background.
Wheaties are the nizzles.
And we've also got Parris, a.k.a. Vicious696. You can change that name to Discord, by the way. But, man, thanks for coming on. Tell people where you're from real quick and kind of, you know, thanks again.
No, first and foremost, thank you for having me on here. I am a frequent lurker in the chat when you do these live because I like the content that you put out. You guys do a great show. But you can find me over at Gamertag Radio. It's been around since 2005, one of the longest gaming podcasts. We recently celebrated our 1,000th episode earlier this year before everything went to shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, here to talk some gaming, man. This is a nice break from the madness of the real world. So I'm excited to be here.
And you got to throw it out there. You guys recently interviewed Phil for the first time. Like, what was it, 3 years at that time? You had Phil on the show and stuff, right? Like, don't sell yourself short, Parris. Come on now.
Yeah, we had Phil on back in 2014 at E3. We got to talk to him. So this was kind of right after he took over everything that, you know, with Xbox. And then for the 1,000th episode, I remember Danny Godfrey, he asked me, he's like, man, who should we get for a guest when we have a 1,000th episode? And I was like, it has to be Phil. We have to get Phil. So it took us, I think we started talking about it like in September of last year. And it took about that long to actually secure it with PR because I even ran into Phil at the Game Awards in December.
And you did a front flip over your shoulder. See you later.
But I even said to him, I was like, you know, you got to come on. And then sure enough, a couple of weeks later, PR reached out and we made it happen. And he came on in February this year. But it was a good conversation. It really got me excited for the approach that Xbox is taking as we're going into the next gen, because I've always said, you know, since 2016, they've been building up to this moment, right? Mm-hmm. And we can curse on here, right?
Of course, fuck.
Okay, yeah. My whole thing has been, see, I don't curse on my podcast, but it's like Microsoft Xbox doesn't give a shit how you play their games, just as long as you're playing their games and you're in their ecosystem. Exactly. So be it on Xbox One, be it on PC, ColecoVision, streaming it on your phone. They don't
Your
give
refrigerator,
a shit.
yeah, all of it.
Exactly. So I'm excited.
You know
for
how
it,
long
man.
it's taken people to finally come to that conclusion? Like, we've been talking about this shit for so long, and everyone, I don't know, man. It's such common sense, and you just said it yourself. Like, the image of the future has been clear. Now with xCloud, you know, being able to play this stuff on phones all around the world, it doesn't matter what install base is where or where you release a game. You've got all these territories across the world that might play a Japanese game now on an Xbox platform like xCloud, right? So there's so many different variables to this, and they're doing things that have never been done before. So it's exciting. But I do want to thank you for coming on, man. Thanks a lot. I mean, as you know, it's kind of like a regular show. I know Phil watches the show. He just tweeted about us not too long ago. It's one of those things where we're definitely pretty loose, and we like to have fun with the chat. Speaking of the chat, Jesse Darby says, Minnesota strong. Shout out to everybody in Minnesota. Thank you so much. And, of course, D-World has become a channel member. Thank you so much, sir. If you want to become a channel member, hit that join button. We got 100-something channel members now. Do appreciate it, guys. We got some topics. Let me get into these shout-outs real quick. But, again, thanks to everybody joining us live, guys. If you haven't already, hit that like button, share it out for us, and let people know. We do appreciate it. Snake Eyes, shout out to you, buddy. He is one of the shout-out tier. We got some new shout-out members as well, but, of course, that updates like around the 5th of every month. So, guys, if you're going to do that, do it soon. Assassin Lupo. We've also got Alec Gamer 4. Frost did that shit. Tony Stark, RDX, KY Bob, Foreign Object. We've also got Gabqueast. That's an odd one, but I think I got it. Teo, John Blue, Vec Boss, Deviator X, Obi-Wan FTW, Scout Trooper 74, Real Deal Neil, Suicide King. We've also got Tasteless Genie, Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cabillo, The Legend, Chanagram, Naughty Nubbin, Alfonso Hogan, A Squad, Slim 73. Thank you guys so much for what you do. I am gonna die after that. Thank you. Hey, Colt, PS5 June event is it's actually delayed. We're gonna start with this and let people file in. It's actually been delayed officially by Sony because of everything that's going on in the world. There's a bunch of riots and stuff going on, and there's a lot. You know, this is the thing, Colt, and I really hope people come to understand this. The world's kind of messed up right now, and all the plans went in the dumpster.
Yes. Somebody asked me what's so hard about putting out an hour stream about your video games, and I said a lot. A lot is very hard about that. And obviously Sony just feels like it's not appropriate, and they said as much, to celebrate video game right now and just to take a moment and show respect. Their stuff's ready. They're ready to talk. Nobody wants to talk more than the people who are ready to show their stuff, whether that's Xbox or PlayStation or the Ouya. So people are excited, and they're gonna wait. I mean, maybe they're gonna give it 2 or 3 weeks cool down, but that event's coming, and it's just really bad timing because things are really wrecked everywhere. Not just in North America and the U.S. It's everywhere. Everything's really difficult.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let me get a little more context here before we want to throw it to Fonz, but yeah, they did confirm that their PS5 June event is delayed, where they were confirmed to show a bunch of new games. We do expect games like Horizon Zero Dawn, Gran Turismo, etc. They're going to look phenomenal. Horizon Zero Dawn is probably going to... The first one still looks one of the best looking games of all time. The second one's going to look insane. I expect them to show some actual next-gen power here, even on a PS5, which is extremely capable. You're going to see stuff unlike anything you've ever seen before. But they did officially delay that from June 4th. And, I mean, Bonzarelli, were you surprised by this at all? It's kind of a reoccurring thing.
No, not at all, because matter of fact, you know, tomorrow is the memorial for Mr. George Floyd, and I understand completely that they want other voices to be heard. It makes sense. It's a classy move, in my opinion. And, you know, it's just a reflection on the state of, you know, the world right now. And we can all believe in different things, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, I think we can all come together and understand that, especially here in America, things need to change. And yeah, I approve of their postponement of this event. It makes sense.
Parris, did you have anything you wanted to say on this? I mean, I'm sure you were looking forward to... I remember your video when they announced Horizon Zero Dawn for PC officially, and you were talking about, you know, why is this pissing you guys off, right? Why are you mad I could play it somewhere else? Like, it detracts from your platform. It might even do better for your ecosystem. Now that you're hearing about these PS5 games finally about to be shown, and, you know, obviously it's getting delayed for the right reason, I would say, it's still an interesting topic.
No, absolutely. And yes, I was very excited for the reveal event this week. And yeah, it was a smart thing to do. This is not the week to be revealing your new video game console and the games that are come with it. So delay it a week, whatever the case is going to be, and just show respect to everything that's going on in the world right now. So yeah, look, it's a reveal. It's not like they're delaying the launch of it or anything like that. We can wait another week or two to be able to see what PlayStation 5 is going to have to offer.
Hey, I got to give a shout out to Nightwolf as well. And a shiny Colt Eastwood emblem. He says, silly me, almost forgot to tune into the Wednesday edition of RDX. My night just got better. Can we get a at Colt Eastwood RE7 Scream? LOL JK. We need to get Colt Eastwood compressor before he attempts that. That will blow your face off.
It wasn't a scream, but it was a not a very manly Friday sound.
Oh, it was a full-on scream, chat. And we got to give a shout out to almost 1,100 people watching this live already, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't, share it out. Let us know your thoughts in the chat as we do continue. Sony delay the event, obviously, for the right reasons. Let us know what your thoughts are in the chat, and try not to be dumb about it, please.
I want to add to it real quick. I got to commend Sony here. It was the right decision to do that. Of course, Floyd's memorial is tomorrow, so it definitely wasn't the right time. And there's a lot more important things going on in the world right now. Thankfully, today, it appears that justice will be brought upon, the people that did this. So, hopefully we can start to heal. Everybody can start to heal and, deal with the situation. I have to say it was a really classy move on Sony's part. And I'm a little disappointed in some gamers. I saw some gamers react to the show being made. And I'm a gamer too. I was really looking forward to the show. And yes, I'm disappointed that the show is not going ahead tomorrow. Of course, just like any other gamer, but to understand the reasons why, it's a lot bigger than video games. And some gamers were like, well, so what? It doesn't matter. We'll be delaying it because of this and making fun and making jest of it. And it's a real serious situation that we're going through right now. A lot of people being in different parts of the United States right now are experiencing, this event. And once again, classy move by Sony, and we're gonna get to see it. It's not like it is canceled. It's probably gonna be next week or the week after. It's gonna come really soon.
Well, put it this way, D. If it were Xbox's event confirmed for June 4th, which we will get to Xbox's June event, they would have done the same thing. So ask yourself, those who were mad about this or at least taking shots at Sony, would you have done the same to Microsoft? Probably not. Let me get Kinty.
Good point. Great point, dealer.
Let me get Kinty Super Chases. Red Dead Redemption remake for next gen. True? Holy shit! I really doubt that. But
that would be amazing.
You never know. We also got DJ Hero. Shout out to you. He says RDX plus Parris equaled the best video game combo. Thank you so much, sir. Do appreciate it. As well as we've got another one. Element of PO. Shout out to you, buddies. I always enjoy seeing Element of PO in here. Good evening, RDX. I love the show. Surprised to see Sony was going for a TV broadcast reveal. Will Xbox do the same? Question mark. Should they? Question mark. That would go to you, Zalker. Should Xbox do a TV broadcast reveal?
Sure. Why not? Like, I don't know. Like, a lot of people are putting money towards TV. And again, to go back to like what we were talking about, it was like I think Sony had advertisement on ESPN for their show, and they still canceled it, which was like awesome.
This
like,
flying tooth was brought to you by Sony. This a UFC fight.
Yeah, pretty much. And just I don't know, man. I think it was really cool by Sony to do that. And as for Xbox, like I don't get like the TV, like why? Like a lot of the streaming that they've done has been, I don't know, man. I think streaming's good enough. Like you can put on Twitch and all that.
It's not talking about that though. He's talking about should they stream their event on TV? Is that what you're talking about, dealer?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that isn't that the same thing then, just streaming it?
I mean, I think he's talking about going broadcast.
Yeah, like broadcasting. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I don't think you should do that. I think they can
what for? Like, who's got a cable subscription anymore? Like,
it's not even that. Like, I don't think anybody would watch it on TV. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what.
Okay, maybe Element Appeal. I'm not familiar with exactly what he's saying, but maybe like on Hulu. I mean, I think they should try to get these things on Hulu, Netflix. Like, why not? Special events. Boom, tab. You can have that for free. Netflix.
I can see the Netflix thing, but then it's the same thing as like Twitch and all those other ones, Mixer, YouTube, and all that. Like it's kind of the same thing.
I gotta disagree with you, dealer, because that would cost an astronomically amount of money. It would be so crazy to.
Okay, let me add this to it. I think Netflix should do it for free. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
go.
All right, I'm
Come
kidding.
on.
I'm kidding.
Call
Netflix
them
does
up.
nothing
Hey,
for free.
Netflix. Yeah,
Hey, by the way,
put it for free. Click.
this is Minecraft Dungeons footage with me, Colt Lethal. And this game's pretty fun, actually. I wasn't expecting to have as good a time with it. I'd say probably like a 7.5 right now for me. And some of the effects are just
Trash.
trash.
You're getting wrecked, bro.
Hey, it's got a lot in common with your face then. So we're gonna go ahead
It's
and move
like
on.
Diablo.
It's beautiful and it's fun.
He said, "Oh, it's beautiful and it's fun." Okay. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The event is being pushed back, and I guess we'll see how that affects everything else going forward. I am excited to see what Sony are bringing to the table. Competition drives innovation, and the reason Xbox have come out on top with hardware, which they have, and the reason they've doubled their studios, and the reason they've been so pro-consumer, is because they had competition that was kicking their ass. So never forget it. And at the end of the day, it's a good thing. Xbox do, however, come back like a little wiener dog nipping at the ankles. They say they come back and take some shots. Colt, they say no downclocking. They say no boost mode. Thousands of games day one. This is like an official tweet. I don't know if you guys saw this. Like, Colt, what were your thoughts when they were taking shots at Sony saying, look, we don't got a down clock. We don't got a boost clock. We actually emphasized the fact that our clocks are locked the day before Sony specs came out because we knew theirs weren't. What are your thoughts on that? It's kind of bold.
That was mean. That was totally rude and uncalled for.
Hashtag be nice.
No, but it was. I mean, it's true. They're approaching back compat totally separate. One is using software and one is using pure hardware. So, I mean, there is kind of a boost in the Xbox for back compat. The hardware is stronger, so it will stabilize frame rates.
I think that's a shot at their general non-back compat games too. Like, no boost mode, no downclocking, no nothing.
It is. And the back compat thing is a big deal. It also kind of brings up a lot of arguments that I'm not buying a $500 console to play old games. Okay, I mean, and I tried to emphasize in my last video that I'm talking about. Look at games that you just played, like Jedi Fallen Order runs at 40 to 60 frames per second at a dynamic resolution or 1080p. Like, imagine going back and replaying those games or going back and just trying them out to see how they look on your new console.
Even without a patch, really cool. Right? Yeah. Day one, boom, not only the SSD benefits, but the automatic performance benefits as well. Which I think Sony get some of those as well. Like if it's dynamic res or the frame rate's kind of not locking, I think they get those benefits, but I don't think theirs goes as far as like, hey, we can actually get by the 30 FPS caps. We can, quadruple resolutions automatically in some titles. We can have automatic HDR. We get automatic texture filtering benefits. I don't think they confirm some of that stuff. So I'd say they've come forward, though.
I don't know, and hopefully someone could just interrupt me and tell me what's going on, but it doesn't seem like Sony's been very clear about how back compat works. Like, I know they're working on specific enhancements for the top 100 PS4 games, but it doesn't really tell us what the older PS4 games that aren't hand-tooled by Sony's team will run like.
Why do they need to be hand-tooled? Like, what's going on with?
Because they have to take the dealer can fix this. They have to take the PS5 hardware and they have to downclock the frequency in the CPU to get it to run properly. Is that correct, dealer?
Well, it'll run on the same CUs that the original game ran on, but those CUs are more efficient, right? So you should have a performance benefit, but it will not. You won't hear the fans ramping up like you will.
I'm wondering what Parris would have to say about any of this.
Yeah, like, Parris, what do you have to say about this?
Why you hide?
Well, actually,
why you hide?
No, I'm not hiding. Oh, trust me, you don't want to get me started.
Yeah, you don't want to get Parris curve song. Come on now.
No, what Colt's saying is I'm pretty much in the same boat in that. Okay, they've said the top 100, but we don't know anything else yet. I'm assuming maybe this reveal event might have shed some more light into that. It's very clear when Xbox announced Smart Delivery, they didn't have the same plan, because if they did, they would have said something. They would have had a name ready to go. It would have been called Sense Delivery or something, right? But they would have been ready to go with it. So it's very clear they're taking a different approach than what Xbox is doing, as far as saying, we're going to take your current games and upgrade them up to PlayStation 5. And then, like you're saying, even with just the straight up backwards compatibility stuff that they're not going to quote unquote enhance, are they going to run on PlayStation 5?
What are your thoughts on the fact? Well, I mean, you get a lot of people not really knowing the full truth, thinking that they're going to have 4,000 4 titles on your PS5 day one. And
No.
that's not
No,
the case. They've confirmed, I think, 100 plus or so. Well, they've confirmed day one, but they're going to, they said our hopes, or we are going to try to get thousands of games back compatible on PS5. Remember, this isn't an emulator like Xbox where when you play an old game, it thinks it's that old system. It literally thinks it's running on PowerPC. It thinks it's running on whatever, the Xbox One, right? When the new one comes out, it won't know any different. The PS5, they have to go in and make sure everything's running on the same CUs, individual cases. And what would they have to do? Approve 50, 60 games a month for the course of the entire generation to get all those games back compatible?
Yeah, keep in mind, a year and a half ago, every month we were getting 3, sometimes 8 back compat games approved. Like Larry Herb was sending out a tweet saying, hey, these 4 games just got added, or these 2, or these 6. And it was actually pretty cool when we were waiting for the Xbox One X, and when we got the Xbox One X, just more games to add to the library. Now, somebody pointed out that if they did this the entire generation, if PlayStation was back compatting all of the PS4 titles, they would have to approve 50 plus games per month by the end of the generation to have the whole catalog. So they said they're going to approve as many of the entire catalog as they can. Licensing problems withstanding, like nobody can do anything about that unless somebody's willing to pay money. So unless Xbox and PlayStation have a way to just say, okay, here's 130 games, those are ready to go, I don't know how we're going to get a bunch of these games back compat. I don't know which platform is going to have them almost all ready to go, but it sounds like if anybody had nearly the entire Gen 8 library ready for the new consoles, it would probably be Xbox.
D,
Well,
what do you think?
I feel like
Let me ask D a question. I'll come back to you, but I wanted D's take on because there's people out there say I don't care if they're back compat. I don't want to play old games, and I guess it's flying right over their fucking head that these are your purchases that you paid money for, and if you're not able to keep that and move forward, that's a problem. Like that's not, you know what I'm saying? It's bad for you. So
and don't talk about old music and old movies and old TV shows you like watching either, because then you can no longer talk about back compat.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where people got to think about themselves. What you spent your money on, that's your library that may or may not come forward. And that's why we want Sony to have as many, back compat titles as possible, because I know I want my games to be still with me, D, what are your thoughts on that?
Game that I purchase, I want to be able to play it if I want to play it in the future on the console that I currently own. I want to be able to play that. I've had that ability forever on PC.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's never been an issue, and it's never held anything back.
Well, Ghost of Tsushima be backwards compatible, D. Like, people are worried, like KY Bob in the chat. He's saying, I don't know if I want to buy Ghost right now because that hasn't been confirmed to work with my PS5.
I think those will.
I think it will as well, but I'm just, that's like a thing people are thinking right now. Like, what will work?
And why would, I can understand maybe like the first generation PlayStation 4 games, like the launch titles. Maybe you're not interested in playing those games. Fine, whatever. I'll give that to you. But what about the games that you bought last year? Wouldn't you like to see what Spider-Man would look like on the PlayStation 5 with 60 frames per second, with ray tracing, or better global illumination, or whatever, just better textures, just better looking game overall? It would be for sure on the PlayStation 5. You don't want to experience that with a game you already own? I don't understand that. The option is not a bad thing. Sony saying, you know what, we're just concentrating on games playing on the PlayStation 5, me just tells me, you know what, we're not really focusing much on getting your old games working. You know what, if they work, they work. If they don't, they don't. And I don't think that's for the consumer, because you paid for that game. Why should you have to keep your PlayStation 4 still? And it should be able to be played on the PlayStation 5.
Also, more than ever, people have spent this current generation buying digital games more than ever. And like,
and remember
before
when we
on
were
our
talking
360,
about, like...
on your 360 and PS3, you could say, well, I bought a lot of games on disc, and I just kind of, I just kind of accepted that I can't play those. That's kind of how it is. But things are changing really fast.
I just want to add real quick too. I my last dollar. The narrative is going to change, because like we've all seen these patents on their backwards compatibility, how they have some type of patent that, if it goes into PlayStation 5, it'll automatically upgrade the game, it'll automatically add new textures and all that type of stuff. They have a patent. Now, whether or not this makes to the PlayStation 5, I don't know. But if it does make to the PlayStation 5 this feature, then watch all these same people that are saying, "Oh, I don't want backwards compatibility. It doesn't matter." Watch them all hype it up.
They'll be,
they already did that.
Your games,
When that
rumor
was going around that it went backwards compat all the way to the PS1, people were hyping it up. So I mean, it's just it's these fanboy talking points. It's really ridiculous. At the end of the day, I mean, I understand why some people are upset. Some people who do collect physical games and want to bring them forward and want to have that. I get it, but at the same time, like I also get guys who say, "Look, I buy a new console. I want to play new games." I totally get that.
I want to
too.
play all the shit I own, all 600, 700 games I own. Let me get to a few of these and I'll throw it to Zalker. Guillermo Cavilla says, "I get to be here tonight. What's up, Dealer Colt, D, and the rest of the panel?" Thank you so much, Guillermo. You the man. We've also got KY Bobby says, "Everyone like and share it out. Let's let people know that RDX is on Wednesday. It's on Wednesday today." Yes. Yeah, guys, if you're in the chat, thanks to all 1,500 people watching live, guys. Thank you so much for what you do. Hit that like button, share it out, help us out a little bit. They got a gun to my head, I gotta say it. And we've also got another super chat from Mr. Teo Zochi. Thank you so much. $50 super chat. He says, "Thank you, RDX, and great for the podcast in these trying times." That's why we're here, man, to take people's minds off things, have a good time. Thank you for helping an essential overnight worker in New York City get away for a bit. Thank you all. Be safe. Malacca. So he's the OG listener back when he was pushing the Malacca stuff. Yeah. And then KY Bob again, he says, "Yes, I am gun shy buying any digital purchase right now." He's saying that it is an investment and I want all of my investments to come with him. And 100%. He's right. He should be allowed to feel that way. And I don't blame him. Sony, Parris, I think you said it earlier. If they were this cut and dry, everything will work, or X, Y, and Z will work, then they would have said it.
Yeah, they would have said it already, because they would have countered the fact that Xbox came out and talked about smart delivery. You have like a CD Projekt Red that won't even comment on Cyberpunk 2077 on PlayStation 5 because Sony hasn't said anything yet. That would be a big boost for them instead of letting Xbox get all the shine for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's clear that they got caught off guard by that, and they're scrambling. And that's why you saw what Cerny said in the tech talk, which should have been for GDC, that right now it's just 100 games because they're still working it out. They don't have it completely figured out yet, at least in my opinion.
Valerian, he says, "For me, backwards compatibility will help me with the gaming with my wife, who doesn't game as much and usually wants to upgrade, or usually waits to upgrade. I won't have to hold." Yeah, so you're saying that all the older titles, the legacy titles, it's good to bring forward kind of those casual titles as well. Sonic the Hedgehog rings a bell, right? Stuff like that. I'm trying to get to these guys. There's a lot of them. Assassin Lupa, she says, "Have you seen Samsung?" Yeah, we're going to get to that, actually. We're going to talk about Game Pass. And actually, I forgot to put that topic in there. I guess we can do that. But Assassin Lupa is talking about the Samsung TV Game Pass deal, apparently. This is so funny because I was just mentioning this over the last couple of weeks, how it's inevitable that TV manufacturers will make deals with something like Game Pass, much like PS Now did. And you'd be able to stream your games right to your TV. So if you got an OLED, eventually it could be a possibility that you're gonna have a Game Pass app next to that Disney Plus app. You're gonna sign in no matter whose TV you're on, whatever it is, and be able to have access to your games to stream them.
Ooh. Didn't we say this like 2 years ago as well?
A billion years ago. I mean, it's all common sense.
We've been saying this for a while.
So I mean, that's apparently a thing, Zalker. Like that's actually apparently going to be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, the with Xbox, I think they've been very transparent with everybody, telling them like we don't basically what Parris said, we don't give a shit where you play Xbox as long as you're playing Xbox. You don't need to be on the console. You could be anywhere you want. If that's a TV app streaming it, hey, you're supporting Xbox. It doesn't matter. Like that's the thing that I feel comfortable with Xbox is that they actually are telling us what they want and they're showing us what they're going to be doing.
Don't kiss the first date, Zalker.
Well, the thing with
transparency.
Well, the thing with PlayStation is that I feel like there's more misinformation by people making shit up than actual information from Sony.
So you're talking about the guy saying you'll have 4,000 titles on day one back compat.
Well, no, I remember somebody saying that you're going to have PS1, 2, 3, and 4.
I remember there was a fat pipe.
I remember that shit. Yeah, everything is just like what? Like you hear these things and it's like the rumors. And then in PlayStation's like, nah, 100. Here's 100 titles, maybe. We'll talk to you later.
So they pop their lips out of the bush.
You know, that Neo is.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel kind of weirded out by PlayStation. Like, yeah, I can't wait for the event. And I think that they're going to be a little more transparent during the event. They're going to show a lot of stuff. I hope they talk a lot about their tech, not just specs. I want to see what they're doing on the back end software side, like Xbox has been completely transparent about. Yeah, and it's seeing this thing on like a TV or on Samsung or whatever. I think that's pretty freaking awesome.
Well,
That's pretty cool. It's going to open up.
Here's the main question, because you said you were pretty weirded out. Now, is it kind of like you're on the dance floor, you look over, and Sony's the guy in the corner looking at you slowly, and he slowly licks his own eyebrow?
Dealer.
No, like when he licks his eyebrow, I turn around going, "Oh, that's weird," and then I turn around and he's right there dancing up on me.
Oh,
like, that's
man,
what I feel.
okay. He's like,
all right.
well,
Free drinks, right?
free drinks.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, Colt's right, or Zalker's right. There's a lot of people out there that are taking headlines from articles and not reading them, right? And that's how we had people thinking Halo Infinite wasn't getting the full treatment of Series X. That's how we had people thinking there's 4,000 back-compat titles day one. That's how we had people thinking that the PS5 is a better, more powerful system. RDNA 3. Just came out today that AMD said their new big navi cards are their first real RDNA 2 product, and that's because, as I had said forever ago, it's not RDNA 1, it's not RDNA 2. It's pretty much a full custom chip that uses what it has to.
I just got breaking news about that. It's actually RDNA 4.
Really?
It's RDNA 4 now. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Well,
it's changed.
I appreciate that knowledge, as well
They're
as
going the Xbox number system. We're just jumping around, bitch.
frame rated, by the way, in the chat. He says, I aspire to create content as well as all of you. Thank you so much, sir. He says, I look forward to every single show. Keep it up. Excited for next generation. Do appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. You guys checking out the content. This was powers the show and powers the channel. Do thank you so much. And shout out to almost 1,600 people watching live, guys. Hit that like button, share it out if you can. And of course, let us know your thoughts as we continue to move through the topics here. We do have a ton of great ones coming up, especially. And Fonz, by the way, kind of get ready because I got a little Cyberpunk topic in here for you, especially based off kind of some of the stuff that's been going on. But they did show off some Last of Us 2 gameplay. Very impressive, and in my opinion, that's kind of what I want from Xbox. Is I want a behind the camera, like this is what the game looks like when you play it. Gameplay demo. It doesn't have to be that long. It could be 5 minutes long, but show me something. And I'm not saying show the whole game or spoilers. There's ways to get around that, so I don't want to hear those excuses, right? Like they can show you gameplay like this. Parris, when you watched that lady get shanked in the neck and flop around like a fish on the floor, what were you thinking?
Oh, I loved it. As cruel as that may sound, because it just. I call it just kind of the brutal beauty of that game, what it is. I mean, and you can see Naughty Dog, just their animation team has just gone to another level, because you could literally see fear on her face when she had that neck or the knife to her neck. So yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Was the actress Rose from Star Wars?
I thought
Kinda
the
looks
same
like her.
thing.
Kind of looked like her. Yeah, it did.
I didn't even put that together, but yeah, I think you're right, Zucker.
Look like who?
Yeah. Animations
The only
are
good
definitely
character
getting closer.
the only
to,
good character she played. I'm happy.
Oh,
I think the
boy.
animations for Naughty Dog are just like them and Rockstar. They just, those two companies have the best animations, hands down.
And what do they have in common? Time. You know, they take a lot of time on their games,
and
they got a lot of time.
a lot of employees, and you know, hardworking employees. That's it. You know.
Yeah, it's crunch time, bitch. Yeah, I mean, the game looks phenomenal, and while it does borrow a lot of mechanics from a lot of other games, just like every game does, it looks really good. And people were like, "It's a movie," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They're the same guys sitting there talking about how you love Rise Son of Rome. I really like Rise Son of Rome. I didn't mind the cutscenes at all. Like, so
And there was a lot of them.
yeah, there were quite a few, and that's what made Rise so cool, because the story was really good.
I really liked that cinematic experience there too.
You liked it at 30
I freaking
FPS,
love
didn't
that
you?
Yeah, 30 frames.
30 FPS. A XX1, XX2 high dealer. Is there a chance for Diablo 4 on Xbox? Zalker, I'm sure that's coming, right?
Yeah, pretty much. If they've already ported 3, there's probably going to be 4. It might be one of the reasons why they hired Rod Ferguson to look at go into there, because he launched Gears on PC and Xbox. So developer that's familiar with both, right? So
Woo!
console and PC.
Yeah. Justin Maroney has a question for you, Parris. It says, how ready are you for Cyberpunk? I'm about to crawl out of my skin. I need, he needs a time machine, Parris. How ready are you excited for this game?
Oh, am I excited for it?
Oh, he is.
Maybe you haven't seen the video.
I've seen it.
I'm extremely excited for it, and unfortunately, the Night City Wire also got delayed from the 11th to the 25th. But yeah, I'm ready for September 17th, man. That is probably going to be the primary thing I'm making content for when it comes out. So really looking forward to it.
I mean, Bonds, when it comes to Cyberpunk, we can skip to this real quick. What is kind of the latest and greatest in like a few, a minute or two of kind of what's going on there?
Parris just hit it. The Live City Wire event is moved from the 11th to the 25th now because of everything going on. And it's just, it's one of those things where, like everything else, it's just there's some information that's out there, but it seems like more speculation than anything at this point, because even though that there's so much hype surrounding this game, there's still a lot under wraps. And, I think Parris can attest to that as well, because, he's seen some of these demos behind the scenes. I think at last year's E3, right, Parris? You saw the demo?
Yeah, I saw the 2018, the 20 and the 2019 one.
And even though you and others got to experience it, because there's supposed to be another hands-on demo. That's the biggest thing going around. There's supposed to be another hands-on demo, and the speculation that will be shown at that Live City Wire event. And, I like when Parris saw it, everybody saw it behind the scenes. They got to see more footage than we got to see. And still, there's a lot of questions that are unanswered there for this game, and there's just like a lot of hype surrounding this. And I can't tell you, I'm just as excited as Parris is. I've been excited for this game for quite some time now. I just can't wait for it. So, of course, when there's more like substantial things to nail down and talk about, I will definitely do that on my channel, so you guys can definitely see it there. So, yeah, I've been covering Cyberpunk for a while now. It's like I said, the 25th is going to be their big Live City Wire event, and hopefully that's where that hands-on demo is going to be, and we're going to see more gameplay, hopefully some new stuff within that gameplay. So
P. Diddy,
that's about it.
P. Diddy in the super chat, Microsoft's to make a game with a black protagonist. I agree. And who says they're not? Actually, we talked about how Gear 6 might actually, Dell is my favorite character from the new games. And we had talked about how Gear 6, maybe they go from JD, Kate, and then Dell, right? You never know. So I wouldn't mind that at all.
Bring back Agent Locke.
No, Agent Locke, he should stay in the bushes for sure.
Agent Locke was just a horrible.
I want a good
story.
First and foremost, the most important thing is that it's well written, it's good. I don't give a fuck if I'm playing as a Ninja Turtle. I don't care. Like, it's just got to be good. But of course, Locke it had nothing to do with anything other than the writing with Locke. He had the charisma of a doorknob, and it's just they didn't really execute that well, in my opinion. That's my opinion, though. Let us know yours in the chat. We're gonna go ahead and so Fonz, the event got delayed. We finally saw the Cyberpunk console, which we all saw like 8 months ago. We had the picture of it and everything, and then the game got delayed like we knew it would. And now we're just waiting and waiting. It seems to be a reoccurring theme of 2020. Kind of trash, but at the end of the day, it'll, I guess, to get more polish from it. Sega announcement, a little. Hey, Cole, what was the deal with the Sega announcement? And who was there? People just, I mean, it seems like every time there's any little hint of anything, everyone blows it up out of proportion, right? Well, I mean, I got some context there.
Yeah, I got like probably 20 or 30 DMs. Cole, you need to cover this Sega console. People thought that Sega was buying an Xbox Series X and putting their badge on it, like Microsoft was selling them the hardware and letting them tweak it and put their badge on it.
And they have there is proof of this kind of thing happening over there, like the Panasonic GameCube. I think they've done this kind of stuff before. But this is Microsoft, and they're marketing xCloud, and it's got to tie together, you know.
Yeah, in this decade, you don't build a new console out of the weeds and throw it in Japan. Like that was the other thing, that it was going to be a Japan only. It would be basically the Xbox in Japan with a little more reach because it doesn't have the name Xbox on it. And I just kept thinking, I hadn't heard anything from anybody I talked to, and especially from Randall Thor 19. A good friend of ours. Like when he hears something, we start kind of listening because he'll hear something that sounds a little bit, I don't know, believable because the people he hears things from. So I just kept telling people I don't think so. And then we saw the cereal box toy prize.
Well, we knew that it was going to be they were going to announce something, but whether or not they would try to associate it with Microsoft or Xbox somehow.
Well, where did the association with Xbox?
I don't really know. I mean, all I did was tell people, I guess we'll see, like
were
my
you
general
hearing this,
generic
Parris?
thing.
Were people hitting you up, Parris, about this supposed
Oh my
Sega
God,
console?
Paris Sega's gonna take over Xbox.
Yeah. Actually, I think a lot of it started with Phil Spencer having that trip to Japan in January.
Right.
A lot of people are like, well, why is he over there? Oh, maybe they're working with Sega. And I think the hype started building up from there. And then, everyone just, this rumor came out and people went crazy because what was the last one that Xbox and Sega was going to partner up and they were going to rebrand the Series X as a Sega product in Japan. That was the last crazy release.
Sega Series X.
That's just dumbest. I don't know.
Sega Series X.
Not to backtrack just a little bit, but I know we covered the Last of Us 2 thing, but I don't know if you guys saw that the Washington Post put out an article saying that it's going to make your PS4 sound like an air conditioner. It's so loud with that game.
Oh yeah, that's true. We're hearing that.
And I'm like, oh man, because even with God of War and stuff, my PS4 Pro gets pretty loud, and I'm like, really, this is even louder.
When you're playing God of War, though, the fan goes, boy, it ramps up and it just does that the whole time you're playing.
Yeah.
Ron Hale, by the way, he says, I think Sony delayed because of the Xbox Series X. He used the little channel member emoji. Look at there. He says, pre-sale. Oh, pre-sale page. Oh, you're saying because of the pre-sale page for the Series X and to see if Microsoft reveal would actually be happening and their price and all that stuff. We're actually going to be talking about the June stuff here later in the show, but I mean, I definitely don't think that's why.
One question I have about that Sega, that Game Gear Micro, whose hands are going to be able to play that thing? Like,
well,
those
Randall Thoria's baby hands.
Oh my God! Like that thing
baby
is
hands and a baby
that
mouth.
thing is way too small. That thing is smaller than any of those. I mean, that's basically like almost Tamagotchi size.
It's basically a pocket
dating myself
rocket,
there, but-
rocker, right?
Pocket
rocker.
down
yeah.
on the corner.
It's
So
the most underwhelming announcement I've ever heard. The hype, they had a little bit of hype towards it. And when they announced today, like I did a story on it, but like honestly, I was underwhelmed. Like when they announced what it actually was, I was like, what the hell? And the fact that they're charging $50 for this thing, it looks like something you put on your keychain.
D,
Nobody
I gotta
is
ask
hyped
you
for
this.
this.
I
It
gotta
only
ask you.
comes with 4 games.
D-Bat,
And they
I gotta ask you though.
$250 per games.
Will it have a 4K dock?
I don't know. I'm hearing something
Taylor!
beforehand, actually.
Oh my gosh! No, it's honestly like if you go down the timeline when that thing was announced on Twitter and stuff. Anybody who's got that posted, the timeline is hilarious. People are just making all kinds of memes about this thing. It's way too small.
Who was it that said this is going to
Way
be
too small.
industry shaking news?
Yeah, they said it was going to be as big as the PS5 news.
Who
And
said
it's like,
that, chat?
what?
Chat, let us know
I
who said
don't
that
know
because
who
I
said
gotta
that.
know. I gotta know who said this. Who said that
So, yeah,
the
it's
Sega news is
crazy.
going to rival Sony's PS5 news on the 4th?
And D, what 4 games come with that? By the way, do you know offhand?
Sonic is one of them.
No, of course Sonic would be.
Yeah,
there,
they
but-
showed Sonic on there. It's like a postage stamp come to life.
But even playing Sonic on that tiny
But,
screen,
Parris,
how
you
do
ordered
do
one,
it?
didn't you?
Ew.
Ew, what the hell?
Parris ordered 5.
Flawless dealer's voice fires my pocket rocket. I literally went, when I read that. Shout out to you, Flawless.
No,
Hey,
I love the cereal box analogy at the beginning, though. That's spot on.
yeah.
It does look like something that you'd come out of the bottom of your Frosted Flakes. Like, what are they thinking?
Yeah.
It's a
Shout out
Happy
to
Meal
Tony and
toy.
Frosted Flakes. Yeah, it's.
Someone said
Parris,
Famitsu.
how many did you buy?
Someone said
Real
Famitsu said that. So, D-Batch, you back,
Yeah.
motherfucker? Where'd you go?
I'm here.
What games come with that Game Gear?
Besides Sonic.
I need to get a
So,
drink. Be right back.
Sonic. The games. Okay, here we go. Sonic the Hedgehog, PO2, Outrun, Royal Stone, and that's on the black version. If you want different games, you got to grab the blue one that comes with Sonic Chaos, Gunstar Heroes, Sylvan Tale, Baku Baku Animal. The yellow one, you get
Oh my God.
Shining Force, another Shining Force, and another game that I can't pronounce. Sorry. And then you get Revelations, Demon Slayer, Last Bible Special, Megami Tensei Gaiden,
and the
Shinobi.
ultimate exclusive Sales Slayer.
So these are
I don't.
We
It's
really
not even
didn't
like-
care what games.
they're not
you
even
were.
Yeah,
It's
I
trying to
don't
be
see
nice.
this being. Yeah,
Huh?
I don't see this thing selling like. Well, it's really not going to do well.
$50? Are you serious?
Well, they might have some kind of streaming service as well or something. I don't know what's going on there. I really don't care.
Streaming
Thing doesn't have
service
Doesn't have
on
no
that.
service.
Not on
There's
that
no
thing.
room on that little
Okay,
micro board.
okay.
I'll use that thing as a chopping block. That's pretty much it. I mean, I don't
Man.
you know, I got to make.
I'm gonna use that thing for XCloud.
I'll say this, though, like Sega, I like Sega. I really do. But
Why, D?
and I've said it over and over. And I said in my video today, like, enough with the nostalgia. Like, you have some decent franchises over there. Reinvent them. Take them to the next generation consoles.
Take Shinobi in those games and redo them.
You know what?
You mentioned that
score
they've
over
got
60.
they've got at least 1 or 2 Shining Force games. Do you realize that that's text-based games? Like, how are you going to read text within a game on that tiny thing? It's insane.
Pocket
Insane.
rockers are playing.
Hey, the big Sega announcement was fog streaming, so that's all I was talking about. Some kind of streaming thing, but even that's probably a bigger L than the damn handheld shit. That's not a big Sega announcement. And whoever said it was going to rival anything related to PS5, trust me, I see the numbers.
It doesn't even rival. I mean, this might rival the Ouya announcement, but that's about it.
Ouya. Yeah, that's what the Xbox One's being held back, right? By the Ouya. So, yeah, I mean, the Sega thing, kind of funny. Guys, don't read. It's like when the Rise Twitter account or website went down temporarily. Why the fuck there's still a website? I don't know. And then came back up and people thought it was like, oh, Rise 2 will be there. Nah, apparently not. So just don't read so much into certain things like that. There's a new Xbox update, by the way, guys, that does actually completely radically redo the store. And this is for the Xbox Series X and the Xbox One this year. It's called Project Mercury. And this was leaked out early. So it's a complete store overhaul, completely different design. Apparently it's better than the Windows 10 store. Shout out to Jez Corden. I checked his video out earlier, and it's a ground-up redesign that builds the store out for speed and efficiency. Completely different tile setup and everything. So the store we have now basically has AIDS, and there's not much you can do about it. I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's not good. This is going to be
the Xbox store.
Yeah,
the Xbox.
It's not great.
What problems do you have? I mean, stuff actually installs. It's the Windows 10 store that
I
needs a
died of old
massive-
age looking for anything on that store, and that could be a hardware problem too. But I don't think Sony store is that slow. I think Microsoft had splitting their they got a
awful.
They got a virtual OS on the Xbox, and that's why the console never really shuts off when you're just messing around with something freezes. You can usually get back out into the dash, right? On the 360, if something froze, your whole console locked up, and that's because they have a virtual OS now. And
can I make one request?
You can after I'm done with my damn point, Fonz. Fuck. Anyway, so they got a virtual OS where they split these things up. And if you guys remember, you can do the snap function. They were running 3 OSs of sorts on the console, and because of that, they have a little less, RAM and stuff to work with for maybe the store to be a little quicker. I don't know, but at the end of the day, it needs a big update. Go ahead, Fonz.
Yes, my request would be fix the DVR in the Xbox One X, please.
Oh, yeah.
That thing is totally broke.
Trash.
Totally. It does not work at all. I can't record. It doesn't work.
The 4K DVR does not work right now, and it's been a problem
the
for a couple
1080p is
months.
broke as well, apparently.
No, I don't
the
know.
new one.
Mine's
In the
working.
new in the new build that they're working on, it's broke. Everything's broke.
The crummy thing is the game DVR is for a limited consumer, but it's super important for those people. So the fix is in the works. It's in the alpha ring, and we will see that when it's done.
And they are updating it for the new one too. So the new system.
Parris, do you record on your consoles? How do you bring content out when you put content on your channel?
No, I do a capture card through my PC, so I don't do it.
He said, "Fuck that DVR. I'm using a capture card."
I will say though, before I did get my capture card, it was sufficient. It was pretty good. It was a lot better than what
It's
you get
gone
on the
straight to hell ever since September of last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
It's a lot
that was
better than
2018
the
actually.
first
It started
version.
having problems. Yeah, late 2018 it started having problems.
For very few people, but yeah. And we didn't come here to talk about the game DVR funds.
No, well, I mean he's
No,
right.
we came
though.
to talk about the
Wait.
SSD and the PS5, right?
That's
Oh,
all
you
you. Last week that was you. So shout out to Fonzarelli. And also
I had to bring
1,700
up
people
the
watching
SSD
live,
again.
guys. If you haven't already, hit that like button, share it out for us, help us out a little bit, subscribe, hit the join button, become a channel member. That make you extra cool. And also, we do have believe it or not, we do have other topics we need to get to as well. So yeah, that update is coming, and I am excited for that. I did want to throw this one to Zalker real quick because it is Sea of Thieves related. He is a pirate legend. The Sea of Thieves confirmed to be getting a Series X treatment there, Zalker. And the
yeah,
details they're going to come. What have you heard about this, buddy?
A lot. They're gonna give it the full treatment, give everything they need to make the game look amazing on the Series X.
Is it going to have fish?
Yeah, it already has fish. It's
Is
called
it
the
gonna-
Megalodon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
Singular?
there's a lot of stuff. This game has been updated like crazy. So, and it's first party. So I mean, it's pretty
60
obvious. that
FPS
all
out
first
there.
party- I hope so. I mean, I play it at like 120.
No,
on
look at
1080p.
you. Look at
Yeah,
you.
man.
Look at you.
Hey
Playing
man,
playing on
if
PC.
you're gonna kill, you got it,
Yeah.
man. It's an advantage, especially if you PvP.
But you're,
It is, man. You can't be taking like getting wrecked by people with mouse and keyboard. It's
But
just the
what
way
about
it is.
parity? While the guy's holding an Elite controller and 6 headsets on his face.
Yeah, no. It's the game's awesome. So I'm gonna put it on the Series X, and I want to see how it looks because I don't play it in 4K and I don't have HDR on my PC, so I want to see how that looks. And it still looks gorgeous at 1080p. Honestly, like the game is just freaking awesome looking.
Mhm.
So hell yeah.
It does. It's probably the best HDR I've seen. And
Oh, yeah.
and that game is different at double the frame rate. I'll tell you that right now. The latency's a lot
Yep.
lower. A lot lower. Also,
better.
let me see here. We've got to give a shout out to everyone in the chat, guys. Let us know your thoughts on PS5's reveal event delay. Obviously, some of the news here and there. Shout out to everybody saying hi. The goddamn chat's moving too damn fast. Can't focus on anything. You guys are the best. Again, we're going to go ahead and move forward to Xbox's June event real quick. People want to know what the hell's going on with Xbox's June event. As you guys know, we had Ricari Austin on a few weeks ago when he worked on Inside Xbox, and we were having a conversation about this with him. And even he was like, hey, yeah, it's for hardware and services, right? Like they're going to have an event in June for hardware. Basically, they're going to focus on hardware. And we have heard nothing about this. And look around you. This is kind of the point of this topic. What's happening? Everything's getting delayed. That was the point of my tweet long ago about Lockhart being unveiled soon. Everything has been getting delayed, and the proof is right in front of you. Sony just did it. CD Projekt Red just did it. Microsoft haven't announced this yet because they're doing it, and I know that for a fact. So I actually have an idea of what they were going to show. It is going to be pretty cool. It's got a lot to do with Jason Ronald was saying, and at the end of the day, that June event has not been announced because they don't know when they're going to be able to do it. Everything going on now, plus the global situation. Yeah, June event, where is it? That's where it is. They don't even know yet. So they're still locking that down, and it should still be apparently coming. But now that PS5's, there's so many variables, Fonz, like PS5's things move back, Xbox's things move back. Are they? I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's again, like I said at the beginning, it's just
Let's
a
just move our
reflection of the
birthdays
times
back,
we're
too.
in. We need, I get it. Nobody can, don't spin, and nobody out there should be spinning this into a fanboy console war thing. I mean, if things get pushed back, they get pushed back. A lot of stuff is going on right now that's much bigger than gaming. We don't need any of that nonsense. But yeah, I'd understand if they pushed it back as well. But I'm excited to see what they would show because I don't understand what they would exactly show because we kind of seen the whole teardown of the, we've seen the Xbox
You don't know
Series
what they
X.
would show?
I don't know exactly what they would show in terms of, hardware. This is a hardware
Wow.
show.
How much
Unless
capability have you seen in terms of certain things?
Well, yeah, I guess that they could show, some of the games and stuff, but
What else, Fonz?
I don't know. You tell me, dealer.
I can't.
You're the tech guy.
I wish I could.
Oh, so you know.
Can I ask a question then?
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Because look, you know all the secrets. That's why
Some
I
of
like
them.
listening to you, right? So speculation wise, if this gets pushed, let's say it got pushed out of June into July, do they have 2 July events, or do you just say fuck it and just combine everything into one big giant super event? What do you think?
Apparently that would extend. Yeah, I don't know. They don't like to do big long shows, right? So
Right.
I think if they did do that, then they would definitely have 2 events. But here's what we do know, Parris. We're running out of time. So, like, what do you do, right? Like, they have to do it soon. So what do you think they should do?
I personally just think like, hey, if this one either gets pushed to the end of June or say early July, like maybe right after the 4th of July, and then maybe you just stagger it a couple weeks and then just do the big event that they were going to do in July anyways, just get the information out. I would imagine, and I'm curious, and if you know information and can't comment, that's fine. But I imagine the last thing Phil Spencer says in that July event is you can go pre-order it for this price, be it just Series X, Lockhart, or whatever they're doing.
Yeah, a lot of people think they're holding off on the price for Sony, but I think they know. Man, fuck. Yeah, I mean, I think they know certain things, and I don't think they're as worried about PS5's price because they do have that low end console coming. Like, some people don't think it's real, but it's definitely real. And at the end of the day, like, I guess it's an odd situation because I had suggested long ago when I was talking about this console and how they could release 2 SKUs, same APU, different GPU power, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Same 2 different price points. They do it today with the S and the X. It blows people's minds why they would do it again or why they would do it like it doesn't already exist pretty much in every field. But yeah, they need to either announce it soon or I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to do like NVIDIA and they're going to announce their high-end product, get their perception out there, which is how I used to phrase it in the videos, and then later on introduce their mid-tier or low-tier stuff? Or are they going to launch them at the same time, Parris? Like, what are your thoughts on their strategy there? What might they do?
Man, we have debated this one for so long. I was, for the longest, completely against Lockhart, right? But now that I realize how they're utilizing the SSD and things like that, I kind of get why Lockhart needs to basically be the replacement for the One X. And
it's the replacement for the One S.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry. I said X. That's what I meant. My apologies. But I understand why they're doing that. So I do think depending on the price of what the PlayStation 5 is, you may need it at launch because that may need to be the thing that you say, hey, here's your low cost option. If you don't want to spend $499 or whatever the Series X is going to be. I think if they can be kind of on par with whatever the PlayStation 5 is, you might hold off on Lockhart into 2021.
And that's why I say, because remember, in 2016, their big mantra was, look, we got an Xbox One S. It's a replacement and it's better than the original, but we also don't want to launch this thing and tell you about this and also come out with a console a year later without you knowing about it because we don't feel like we're being transparent. We don't want you to buy this thing and then feel pissed off because you bought an X the next year. So I feel like if they're the same as they were in 2016 in regards to that transparency and that mindset, there's no way they don't announce this thing at least at the same time as the X. Maybe they announce them together, but then release the Series X first and then release the Lockhart later like they did with the S and the X, but in reverse, right? That could be a possibility as well. But we already know about the Series X. We already know it's holiday 2020. They already said it's not really any possibility of getting delayed, meaning it is going to be out as early as any next-gen console. So Lockhart could either be out on the same day or come later, but be announced before you purchase the X so you have that information and you don't feel pissed off when they do announce it.
Well, and I also think this, because they've bought themselves some time with people that already own an Xbox One S or X, because look, we're going to be into late 2021 before there's going to be any real series, quote unquote, Series X or S requirements for games, right? So they could, like you said, announce Lockhart now and wait until well into 2021 because they're like, hey, if you already got a One S or One X, that's your low cost option, and you play all our games right now, anyways.
Yeah,
so there's definitely options there for them, and I like the flexibility. Like I said, I was completely against this thing, but I've really come around on it the last couple months because I see what they're doing. We're saying we're going to give you the most kick-ass piece of hardware day one, whatever the price is going to be. If you want to build a PC, knock yourself out. Do that too. If you already have a One S or X, you're good. You can play the games for the next year and a half. But then at some point, we're going to force you to be into our series hardware. And now here's another low-cost option for you with Lockhart.
A very capable low-cost option. I mean, I think you'll see games running at 100-plus frames per second on this thing at 1080p. Honestly. So.
Yeah, but launching that thing day one, though, they spring the Lockhart on us sometime in June or July. And then they say this holiday, have your choice of the economy model or the powerhouse model. And then at Christmas, 80% of the people are going to buy the Lockhart, and they're going to sell a ton of consoles and get a bunch of people in the platform.
Because price is king, you know?
I think you're going to get the hardcore base that are going to go for the Series X. It just makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
Raymond Thompson, by the way, He says, for the Parris crying Jordan face, good show. And then we've also got Black Eyed Dog. He says, dealer, what month do you think the pre-orders will actually start? Probably, like Parris said, as we said on the show before, probably in July, because remember, a lot of people thought there was just a June event, and that would be a regular E3 event. We had talked weeks and weeks before that we heard this stuff was pushed back to July, right? Everything got pushed back a month. And who knows how that'll be effective going forward. But yeah, definitely by July. If it's not up there by July, then I don't like that kind of marketing. I want, it doesn't match their mantra of transparency, and they can't be that worried about PS5's price. They already know the X is coming in at $5 and the Lockhart's coming in at $3. That's how
I think the Lockhart is really going to be a spoiler for the PlayStation 5. I think when
you talking shit,
we get the announcement for the PlayStation 5 and the price and release date, I think that's when Microsoft's going to reveal their hand with the Lockhart, because it is supposed to be the cheaper option. So I'm already expecting, well, we're hearing a few things, but I am expecting the Xbox Series X to be more expensive than the PlayStation 5. And we're also hearing things that they'll be both the same price, which in my opinion, I think will be a disaster for the PlayStation 5. Nonetheless, the Xbox, if they announce the PlayStation 5 at $399, Lockhart coming in at $299 is a very viable option. And everyone's right. At the holiday season, most people are going to buy that system.
Yep. I mean, all digital one Black
second.
Friday, right?
Let me jump in 1 second. So a lot of this came up because of the Forbes article, right? Which I made a video about and kind of deconstructed every single argument that person wrote about. I do think that a lot of people don't realize that the majority of Xbox Ones out there are Xbox, the OG VCR, ugly looking crap thing.
Yep.
So a lot of people that will get the Series S are majority of those people that have that. So it's going to be a massive jump in quality for them. Like huge.
Well, the article say it wouldn't be?
No. What I'm saying is that's what he said, is that a lot of the people still have OG, or like, what are you going to do with the original Xbox if you're still supporting it? Like all this stuff. And it's like, it's not that big of a jump. And it's just like, it's something like, it was like, you're exiling a lot of the Xbox consumers from getting the top graphical boost that the Series X will give you.
That's the dumbest. See, this is the problem when you have people that don't know about the tech writing articles on
that's the thing. And that's what I said. And I said, you know what? Like, it's not just the hardware, it's the software, the architecture, everything behind it makes it massively better. The SSD, even the CPU, just all these stuff that the Lockhart will have.
But your RX 580 is trash and held back because there's a 2080 Ti out there, Zucker.
Yeah, but no, he's saying that Xbox, like, you're gonna exile, like, maybe if you release it later, like, he's gonna be like, consumers are mad because they bought the Series X more expensive, and then they could play the same games on a lesser hardware that's this. It was a weird argument. Like, I was like, like what? Like, people don't
it's
care.
the one we just crushed before this conversation right now.
Exactly. And I get, like, people are like, they said, oh, they're going to get confused. It's like, no, people buy 85 million phones and everything. Like it's every argument that's going against it.
The difference between 3 and 500, Zucker. How are you supposed to know what that is? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think people give consumers, like, the benefit of the doubt. Like, there's like 5 different LG TVs every year. There's like a bunch of stuff. Like, people need to understand.
We already have the multi-SKU stuff today.
You have to add everything into consideration as well. You just brought up TVs. Only about 50% of American households own a 4K TV. A lot of them are still back with the 1080p TVs right now. So, I mean, you got a lot of casual gamers that are still with those original 1Xs that will, 1S, the 1FATs, I should say, not even the 1S. Yeah. And they, like you said, Zucker, they're going to go to that one, the Xbox Series S, and they might only have a 1080p TV, and sure, it'll downscale or whatever it does to their TVs, but they may not need the Series X, is what I'm saying. There's a lot of households who may not need that.
What was the percentage of 4K TVs last year, though? Like, I feel like
last year it was like 30%, 31%.
30%.
Yeah, I mean, but something's worth whatever you're willing to pay for it. And if
I'm weird. I look into those type of stats. So, if you like, I'm just weird like that. I look at guys' TV stats.
All I'm saying is that people paid $500 for the OG Xbox VCR. You think they're gonna have a problem paying, $299 for a freaking generational leap?
And at the end of the day, it's up to Microsoft to demonstrate that leap. And that's why we've been so vocal about that next-gen gameplay debut. Was not a next-gen gameplay debut. All of that looked like running on S.
But I think they know all this. Microsoft looks at all the data and they see what the casuals are buying.
I know, but it's because the data comes from the fans, and that's why we've been so vocal about that. We're not harping on it again because we were very clear that we didn't like that. But
and the Series X is there for us. I mean, that's what we're going after.
Yeah, we want that frame rate, bitch. Jason, he says, anyone heard anything about the Mass Effect coming back? Yeah,
Nope.
Apparently there's some kind of remasters coming. But again,
nothing confirmed though. We don't know if it's actually going to be like remakes, remasters. We don't know. It's
We don't
probably
even know if it's going to be Dead Space instead of Mass Effect.
Yeah, who knows?
Flexican, well, I heard Mass Effect. Flexican said more DX12U games, ? I think Gears Tactics is the first DX12 Ultimate games. Also, Series X and Gears 5 at 120. Yes, they do have a 100 plus frames per second mode in that game. Base Xbox One, though they did not confirm 4K for that, so keep that in mind. Base Xbox One can do it at 60. Yes, in the multiplayer it can. We need 60 as base now. You're speaking to the you're preaching to the choir there, Flexen. And thank you so much. Shout out to you, brother, man. You get it. That's the leap, man. The big leap. Phil said it himself. The big leap. One of the big ones is feel. And Parris, I mean, what's your thought? Look, it's not that we think 30 FPS games suck because the game.
I was just going to ask Parris this. So good.
It's not that we think it sucks. We're saying that you're buying a $500 box that has no bottleneck, and we've had multiple game developers on this show confirm the same thing we've said. No bottleneck at 60 FPS. There is none. You got the power of a 2080 Super with a $300 CPU in it, basically, in terms of capability. 16 threads, Zen 2, a ton of memory bandwidth, and SSD. There is no bottleneck when it comes to frame rate with this. Simply half the resolution. We're not saying at 4K. We're not saying Assassin's Creed at 4K 60. No one said that. And I'm just ranting on people on Twitter. Anytime you say something, Parris, and I know you know this, if you don't specify the opposite, they think you're saying the opposite. So, just 1440, 60. It doesn't matter. Just give me that option. What is your thought when it comes to paying $500 and actually getting that capability, knowing this is possible?
I've said for years now, going into this next generation consoles, 4K 60 frames should be a standard across the board, because when you go back to 2013, that was a half measure, which is why we got a 1X and we got a PS4 Pro, because that's what we should have had in 2013, right? So with these next systems coming out, I fully expect, at least at a first party level, I fully expect all first party games to do 4K resolution, be it checkerboard, I don't give a shit, but 60 frames per second, right? And even with third party, like I know everyone's losing their mind over Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I really think they were just afraid to commit to 60 because they're still developing the game. But I think ultimately when we get it, probably in October or whatever, it'll do some kind of 60 frames per second, at least in a performance mode. And maybe there's the Ultra Edition. Well, due to, the way we had to make it, it'll be 4K 30, but it has ray tracing or something else. So I get why people get crazy about that. But ultimately, it really just comes down to, are you having fun playing the game?
Yeah.
But I got to ask you, let me expand on that. What do you say to all the gamers out there that say they want that cinematic 30 frames experience in their games?
You give those people an option, I guess. I don't know.
Give them. Yeah, just give them.
Because there are people out there that will argue with me and say that they don't like 60 FPS.
Stay on the Xbox One X, then don't get a Series X, because you're not getting your money. You're not getting your money at 30 FPS, really. Don't even upgrade.
Yeah, it's like Dealer said at the beginning. I mean, look at what that hardware can do. There's no excuse to not do it.
Yeah, there is no excuse.
Right now, these Jaguar CPUs are dog shit. That's why they can't do it now. So now we're upgrading those. There's no excuse to not do it.
And two, a lot of people still don't get how much power's here. Like, I have to stress that.
Yeah.
It's so much fucking power.
And that's all we've been asking for, is like performance modes. At the very least, if you can do a performance mode, if you need to push ray tracing and stuff in 30 frames on your top end graphical game, that's fine. But give me a performance mode. That's all I want.
Hey, Slipvein 4K. He says, just got a C9. Shout out to OLED Lord a few weeks ago. And I love it. Of course you do. He loves it with his X. Can you do a video on best settings and options on OLED? Maybe. Yeah, Cole's been pushing me to do this. I might. I think D-Batch did one on the TV.
Colt in the background.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to over 1,800 people watching live, guys. Of course, hit that like button if you haven't. Share this out for us, helps out a little bit. Shout out to everybody who supports the show, makes it what it is. We do appreciate it. You turn it into one of the biggest podcasts on the planet, and we do thank you. We do appreciate it. We are just having fun and saying all kinds of things that are not good for PR. Oh well. We we're gonna move forward, and I want Colt's take on this because we were talking about this earlier, and it's kind of confusing because Microsoft are going beyond generations, quote unquote. But Aaron Greenberg said, "Fuck it, I'm not," and he made this statement. So Xbox believes in generations again, and I get why he said this. And shout out to Aaron; he's a good guy. I talked to him. He's basically saying, "Look, I'm tired of this talk. I'm tired of the Xbox is held back talk." So I'm going to say this. So he said, Xbox believes in generations of games that play on the latest hardware, taking advantage of all of the latest next gen innovation, offering more choice, value, and of course variety than any console launch ever. And a lot of this refers to back compat as well. He said all of our studio titles launch in Game Pass, of course, and all of the next-gen patches are free. So you don't have to worry about paying for anything. You get a game, it's like PC. You get a new graphics card, guess what? You now can run that game and it looks better, but it's a console. You get a better console, guess what? That game has been updated for that particular model. Boom, you get that, So they're making all that as easy as possible through those dev kits that have multiple SKUs in one box, through Game Core, and of course, it's the first time you're going from x86 to x86. You can port these things easier than ever. Turn on and off features that are already available on PC. Bring those high-end features down to Series X, which is faster than most PCs today. Most PCs today. So he's saying this. We believe in generations and having the games that launch and play on the latest hardware and full fidelity. Because they're kind of getting fed up with this whole Xbox is being held back by the iPhone 3GS talk. It's kind of ridiculous. Colt, what were your thoughts on his statements here?
Yeah, it did sound like he was combating people talking about actually, he was combating PlayStation, saying that they were basically only going to have games release on the PS5, and they said anything after July needs to play on the PS5, and that they were going to only put their games to run on the new hardware and not support the PS5 any longer, which is a strategy which works out for them. As crazy as it sounds to look at, 100 million PS4 owners, only 8 to 10 million in the first year will move to the PS5. And so when you put out games for an entire year, how many of those are going to buy your games? If they have to buy a PS5, but
which is why KY Bob is like, hey, will my old shit work? Because they're saying games after July have to work on PS5. It's like, well, what the fuck? Like, Last of Us comes out this month, right? Like, we know that's going to get obviously patched and upgraded. God of War, their greatest will do that, I'm sure.
I would think, yeah, their first party hits are included in the list, but also, if they're going by top sold, they say top 100. I can't remember if they clarified that, if it meant their top sold or their top rated games or their top most requested.
So Minecraft will work on the PS5.
So, yeah, I mean, you're looking at a bunch of multiplats and hopefully the big first party games that, don't sell as much as some of the really big multiplat games. Like the Call of Duty games would, there's like 20 of them in the past few years. So,
all of the Call of Duty games are going to work on PS5. Confirmed.
I mean, there's like at least 6 Call of Duty games. So those take up a slot of 100 games to come at launch.
Yeah.
And then the FIFA and Maddens and Fortnite and Minecraft, like it's crazy when you think about what the most popular game is and what will take up the slot of, am I going to get, Uncharted Lost Legacy or Uncharted 4? I hope so. I hope all the first party stuff comes.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Nasty Dingle, he says, keep up the good work. Thanks, Mr. Nasty Dingle. Also, KY Bob again says, big shout out to the Boss Mod. They must be working, killing in the chat. Hey, shout out to Lethal, Obi-Wan, all them guys. God damn it, I just lost another chat because of that. Hang on a sec. Eric, he says, why buy Xbox console if Game Pass be on Samsung TV? Well, you buy Xbox consoles because you want to play on a console and not a fucking Samsung TV. Also, we've got another super chat here, and I'm trying to find it. No, but seriously, you play on console if you want low latency and you want to play, full fidelity. Like, just because why play Call of Duty if it's available on the PC? Why play it on the PS4? Because of your preferred ecosystem, right? That's just think about things before you ask questions. Johnny Lasagna Gaming says, if my brand new phone can do 120 hertz, all my games should be able to do. It's not the same. You're talking about very visually demanding games that are having to update not at 30 FPS, but at quadruple that, meaning you need about quadruple the processing power. And based on the game, depending on how demanding that game is, Red Dead Redemption would need 24 teraflops, right? You would just need a ridiculous amount of performance here. So it's just because a phone updates your screen and your animations on your screen at 120 FPS, how demanding are those animations? How demanding is that resolution?
Cell phone games. How are we even doing that comparison?
Yeah, I mean, I hear him, but
some people don't understand.
Johnny, keep in mind though that's not quite how it works. But I will tell you that you'll be very happy at some of the news you're going to hear about the first party games running at 120 frames per second. I think it's going to be many more than people think. And yeah, I think I got him. So again, we can go ahead and, I mean, anybody else got comments on Greenberg's? I mean, Fonz, they were kind of, you guys saying this? That's what I'm trying to say. Fuck.
About what exactly, though?
All right, never mind. So, no, the Greenberg saying, they're 4 generations. I mean, they're going to leverage the new hardware to its fullest, like traditionally, whereas people keep basically saying they're held back by the Ouya.
Oh, no. I think they're going to be moving forward, of course, and I think they're really going to be concentrating on these, not only graphic fidelity but also the frame rates and stuff. First party, like Parris said earlier, first party, I have no worries about first party actually getting to 60 frames, 120 frames. They're going to be pushing that stuff, and that's great. So I don't think people should be really worried about them being held back by anything. It's ridiculous.
Premise says that, dealer, I've been arguing with my friend constantly about this thing being more powerful on his PC. What should I do to convince him? Don't worry about it. I mean, you're not going to convince people like that. And secondly, it really depends on his graphics card. But if he's got anything less powerful than a 2080 Super, then yeah, this thing will stomp his PC into pieces for a fraction of the price.
Yeah, and this is not just coming from Xbox guys. This is from coming well-educated PC guys and stuff, like real tech guys.
Only the PC guys are well-educated guys. Keep that in mind.
No, I'm saying it's not just coming from anybody that is a fanboy or anything.
This is confirmed by Digital Foundry. 2080 Super.
Yeah, but I mean, Digital Foundry isn't even the be-all, end-all. But you'll get a lot of PC guys, even that are fanboys for PC, saying this stuff as well. So, I mean, it's just common sense.
Game Genie Prime sounds like dealer knows something. Yeah, a thing or two. But yeah, shout out to the mods, especially guys, keeping the chat clean and all that. And of course, the almost 1,900 people watching live, guys, hit that like button if you haven't. Share it out for us. Help us out a little bit. If you want to become a channel member, hit that button, subscribe. And of course, let's go ahead and move forward. If nobody else at all has any comments. Docker, you always have something to say. What are you eating? You eating more popcorn?
No.
Okay.
More popcorn.
Toenails just jump in when I want.
It's kind of apparent, what Microsoft's aiming to do. They've been saying this from day one. How x86 works on the PC. It'll scale up to the current hardware or the capable hardware that's in that system. It's not a detriment to the brand, and I think it's a benefit as you're able to carry your games forward and replay these games with an added appeal of a higher frame rate and better graphics. So it's a win-win.
Wow. And when it comes to those multiplats, I mean, come on, they've got to work on even the lowest common denominator here, which is unfortunately now this next generation is PC. So I mean, people aren't going to see these real huge steps, like when it comes to I don't know, any kind of new mechanic that couldn't ever be done before on anything that's not going to happen. Not yet anyway, until everybody upgrades to SSDs and stuff. Yes, I said SSD, but you know what I'm saying? Like not everybody on PC has an SSD.
So much power. Say what, Zucker?
Lots of mechanical
Why did you say
drives.
that name?
Why did you say that name?
Then let's just go the other way. Lots of mechanical drives are still being used out there on PC. So
yeah, and publishers and development, billion-dollar corporations aren't going to cut off their 95% of their customer base.
Exactly.
Right. So again,
stuff's crazy.
I mean, Parris, I'm sure you get why Aaron was kind of reaching a hand out there, smacking a few people with this.
Oh yeah, of course. And look, shameless plug, when we interviewed Phil Spencer, that was basically one of the things I asked him about was how are you handling moving into the next generation, but you're still supporting the Xbox One. And I mean, in a nutshell, he basically was like, look, we have some of the smartest people on the planet, and I think we know a little something about the Windows platform, so we're good.
No,
And if you play on the PC, this is nothing new. You know what I mean?
not at
But
all.
like you were saying, once that SSD becomes like this big requirement for everything, and there's games that are taking advantage of that, now we can have a discussion about that. But until then, it'll be fine. Halo Infinite will be fine on the Xbox Ones. It'll scale up just fine to the Series X. So I'm not
Because it's
concerned.
gameplay design that holds things back. Visuals scale quite nicely, don't they? And that kind of leads into Phil Spencer's statement on, gamers can't even begin to appreciate the real power of Series X. I covered this in my last video because he knows that until you see these things and you played them, and it would help if Xbox didn't stream at 30 FPS, by the way, that you're just not going to get the gist of this. You're going to have to play it. You're going to have to experience it. It's the feel. And I like how Cole has pointed this out before, but when they were talking about 60 FPS with the Xbox One X, Phil's like, why do you guys keep asking about that? Because he knew that the JAG cores would not enable that CPU or that GPU to run just full out all the time. You're going to be capped at 30 FPS. They put those frames into resolution instead. This is a different contrast here, Colt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and that's, I mean, now Phil is saying, looking forward to having you feel the games and feel the reaction and the immersion of, and saying, now he's saying 60 FPS. And there's still people who say stupid, that was really rude of me. There's still people who say short-sighted things like, well, I mean, Assassin's Creed Valhalla can't even run at 60 on the Xbox Series X. Like, say that the other direction.
Yeah.
Well, it's not. I think he's more talking about first-party developers. Like that's a standard.
No.
Like I'm saying, like
No.
I know the console can run it. Like everybody should be able to run it. I think that
But
Xbox
think about
fits
even the games you
He's
saw
not.
at the event.
He's not talking about first-party developers. He's talking. He knows. His engineers have told him that this console is fully capable of running games at dynamic resolution at 60 frames. Just about anything that couldn't do it on the current generation. And anybody who owns PC hardware, knows PC hardware, or has upgraded their computer knows that Series X
speak
and the
on third-party
PS5
developers. He can't speak on what they're going to do.
His claim is like
his
the general
claim is for their
yeah.
hardware. That's why Aaron said the standard output for the Xbox Series X is 60 frames per second, because he said it's got the capability to do that. Of course, there's going to be the occasional developer who's stuck in the same mindset that we've been dealing with for 5 to 10 years, at least for 5 years for sure, with the bottleneck in the CPU, that they're going to say, well, we can't get 60 frames, so we'll ramp up the visuals and we'll lock it at 30 and we'll have a game that doesn't run like garbage. Because, a 30 frame stable game runs fine, but we want 60 and the box is more than capable. He can promise it for the first party, and the first party definitely will target that. But the rest of the studios who've been designing their games to run on a myriad of configurations on
Get 'em,
PC
Colt.
know their games will run at 60 with people who choose to run at 1080p, medium to high settings on very decent middleware desktop PCs.
So what you're saying is if it's 30, it's literally intentional.
It's the developer's choice, and I'm sorry, this sounds rude. I love developers. They provide the things that I enjoy every single day, but it's a stubborn choice if the Xbox Series X or PS5 runs a game at 30 frames.
I'll say this: if you look at the equivalent hardware on the PC, a 3600 CPU paired with a 2080 Super, that's capable of doing every game at 60 frames per second. Yes, it is. Now, the reason why it is obviously on PC, our controls more granular.
Could you imagine building that PC right now and not being able to do 60 FPS?
Unbelievable.
and then say, oh, I got almost 600 gigs of memory bandwidth per second and a fucking SSD that can do up to 4.8 gigs per second, have 100 gigabytes of in-game assets available to it at all times, and it can't do 60 FPS? This thing will do 120 FPS on a fuck ton of games.
And it's not Ubisoft's fault. It's not the Ubisoft engine that Odyssey and Origins runs on, because a GTX 1060, which is much slower than the Xbox One X, is running that game at 1080p 60.
Yeah.
But it's not. I don't give it the fault of the engine or the design in the in Ubisoft's, Assassin's Creed game.
And it's not DirectX 11 either, guys. Like,
I mean, I want D to speak on this, because if you're looking at a Ryzen 36 or 3700 with, let's just say, a 2070, which covers the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. D, pretend you have that PC. You've got a Ryzen 3600 and a 2070 RTX GPU. Can you run games at 1080p 60?
Of course you can. And see, like I was saying earlier, the reason why is because on PC we have more granular control. So we can toggle off settings until we get to 60 frames per second. I know they're not going to give full ability on console, and nor should they. It doesn't make sense. However, you can have some targeted modes where you already have done the background shit to make sure all the settings are correct to get that game running at 60 frames per second. So there is no reason why every single game next generation cannot have a 60 frames per second mode. If it's not capable 4K 60, your engine or whatever, 1440p 60, 1080p 60. I don't give a
I do like
40p fucking checkerboard to 4K. There's no reason why these next generation games can't have
You're saying it's the principle then.
Sorry.
Now, Black Eyed Dog, by the way, says, but no smart delivery for PS5 is not confirmed. By the way, if that is true, shout out to Boomstick. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm backing that, but everyone's got, it's up to him if he wants to put that out there. But that means that Last of Us 2 will not be patched for PS5 for free. That means that they will not patch anything for free. They will not update anything for free. So he basically what he's telling you there, I didn't get a chance to check the video out, but based off of no smart delivery, that means that you are paying for every upgrade across the board.
And I don't believe that.
So I guess we'll have to see. But I wish him the best of luck. It is risky business putting your channel and yourself on that kind of stuff. And, props to him.
Risky business.
Yeah, Zachary, you should try being a little bit forward thinking. So, Zachary, he said, thank you. Zachary, when it comes to Greenberg's statements, man, you heard D-Batch, he had his little fucking flail in the middle of the living room swinging around shit. I mean, when it comes to Greenberg kind of putting a stop to this bullshit, how effective do you think this was at all? Was it effective at all?
I think it was smart, to be honest. I think that they had to do this. I mean, when they kept saying we're going beyond generations, it was confusing. People were like, what the fuck?
That's because we thought, like, what the hell? The original Xbox One's going to work forever? What the fuck?
Yeah, a lot of people, and I think they kind of knew that. I think they kind of sat back, and were like, hold up, are we being confusing with our messaging? And it's like some guy in the corner was like, you fucking are. And I think that's what happened, and they kind of went back on it, which is cool. Hey, man, people make mistakes, and they'll go back on what they, said. We're going beyond generations. And they're like, yeah, this is a next-gen console. You're going to get a leap. And I think just keep it simple, right? And that's what they needed to do with this, is just keep it simple. And it is. It's a next-gen innovation. There are going to be games specifically for it. Xbox,
Day one, next gen, just like we had said from the beginning. Microsoft are the ones who said they are supporting the original Xbox One for a year, maybe two. No third party is mandated to do that. Boom, and confirmed exclusives day one.
And they already talked about exclusive games like the Ascent medium score and like games that are like, yeah, this is only on Xbox and it's exclusive to Xbox or Xbox Series X and it's exclusive to our platform.
And don't forget Pirate of the Star, 120 frames, million, whatever. Colt's favorite game ever.
Hey.
So yeah, I mean, so you think they needed to do this? I mean, I just think
I do think they needed to do this. I mean,
they need to say this in a bigger way at a big event somewhere, I think.
Because even when Mike Ybarra, who was formerly of Xbox, when he came on here, we said generation. He said, "What's a generation?" He said that on this podcast, and we were all like, "God, I don't know, man. Like, chill out."
I go through the same thing when I talk about, big multi-plat games, and I say, on this generation, and when I'm talking about people with PC as well, like people who only game on PC and play the occasional, exclusive on a console. When you talk about like an Assassin's Creed game in this generation, to them they're like, huh? Because it really shouldn't be that way. It's just been ridiculous for so long. There's been a stopgap, and I'm trying to help people understand that we won't see a incredible difference in game design in the first year or so that will mind blow you. That
never
couldn't be possible. Like, and what I try to drive home is look at God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2 and Jedi Fallen Order, Doom Eternal. Those games were made to run on a mechanical hard drive, minimum spec PC, and these powerful current consoles. And they're amazing, great games. And when a game is designed for an SSD with this insane input-output, where you can travel through the world so much faster without pop-in, that's not going to blow your mind. That's just be like, oh, I guess I got my money's worth for that moment. And I hate to sound like I'm downplaying it, but The real groundbreaking design in games takes a couple of years. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 years. I mean, you'll see that amazing experience where they're banging on all cylinders with the new hardware and all the other hardware that's matured on the PC side. And the game just has to be good. And an SSD doesn't make a game better. The input output is not going to be a game changer. It's going to be
even
really
though
good.
every
I think this
console has
generation
it, yeah.
coming up. I think next generation coming up. I don't think it's going to take 4 to 5 years like it did this. I think a lot of stuff was different on Xbox with like Connect, and then this is why we had the mid-gen refreshes, right? Like the mid-gen came out, and people were like, we need just way better shit. So I think that this generation, there's a lot better hardware, there's a lot better architecture, it's a lot better supported. Xbox has put a lot of money into their infrastructure, and Sony, like, you know, to their thing, they've even talked to developers too. They've said like, yeah, we're working with developers directly. Like, listen to the developer. That's who's making these games. Exactly. I think this next generation is going to take a lot less time for us to see some holy shit moments like a God of War, like you know, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, not like Red Dead Redemption trash, not like that. I'm saying, I'm just joking. But yeah,
day one, dude. Like this could cross-gen this time around is going to look absolutely insane because you do have that PC compatibility. I want to read KY Bob's thing real quick. He said, Colt really wants a banjo game.
No.
Okay.
Stop.
What you know when it comes
I thought Parris was trying to say something, unless it was Fonz when Zucker was talking.
Oh, no, I was just completely agreeing. I think it is going to be a lot shorter of a time that we're going to see some truly amazing titles come out for both platforms, and especially like you said, because of PC. And just we've already seen just in the Series X, the little snippets they've given us with the ray tracing lighting. It's going to completely transform the way we see some of this stuff, man. I trust me, I'm very excited.
I mean, Hellblade, what do you think about Hellblade, the way that game looks and how they showed that off and how you're going to see that double the frames?
Yeah, you know, I was at the Game Awards when Phil came on stage to show all that off in the Series X, and I remember when he walked up, I go, "What is he going to show? Freaking Cuphead 2 or something?" I had zero expectation.
He was hating in the background. Xbox is trash.
I really was. But yeah, when they showed Hellblade and they're like, "Yeah, this is Endgame," I was like, "Holy shit!" I go, "We're getting ready to see something special." And the funny thing about it is, I had never played Hellblade before that. So then, right after, I hopped on Game Pass and started playing Hellblade.
That game looks phenomenal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's the same engine as Fortnite and State of Decay 2, right? I mean, Jesse Darby, shout out to you, by the way. He says, here's some more love. Do appreciate it, brother. Alfonso, you were moaning about some shit?
Well, I was going to talk about what you said about Aaron Greenberg and just say that, you know, him coming out and saying this stuff, who is it really addressing? Because the only people that I see really talking about anything being held back are, you know,
people that don't know anything about it.
Those out there that are, you know, for one console that, you know, is not Xbox, let's just say. So I just think that, you know, it's going to fall on deaf ears regardless. It's going to fall on deaf ears regardless. So it doesn't matter if they said this at a big show or not. They're not going to hear it anyway, the people that are actually saying this stuff. Because no normal gamer out there is running around saying, oh my God, the Xbox being held back. The Xbox being held back. I don't hear nobody saying this other than those, you know, fanboys out there. So
again, it all comes down to the machine language being the same for the first time ever. x86 to x86, you can bring all this shit down. Douglas Lowe, real quick, he says, great show, guys. Glad I caught you guys alive with everything, considering everything's been happening lately with the peaceful protesting. Still can't. Okay, I'm gonna line up. Still can't wait to pre-order the Series X. You guys rock. Thank you so much, man. Keep it up. Do appreciate it, man. Really, really seriously. Pre-orders, by the way. There was a pre-order page, as I covered in my last video, that did pop up on Microsoft's official page. Apparently, it hadn't been there for long. It's not active at the moment, meaning that it did appear for some reason. We do know that pre-orders got to be close. You're talking in the next, somewhere around the next month and a half, you'll be able to pre-order this thing. So let us know if you're pre-ordering one in the chat. Colt doesn't want one. He's getting the PS5 instead. And of course, let us know.
I'm getting both.
Yeah, we're all getting both except for Zauker. And then let us know what you guys think about. Let us know what you guys think about.
Parris is getting that Sega gear thing.
Yeah, Parris is like, it's perfect for my hands.
Parris just
ordered. I already have 5 of them. Hey, I actually have a question. I have a question for all you guys, because I was like, if I ever get a chance to come on here, I have to ask you. So, Halo Infinite. I'm just curious what you guys think. I have the philosophy that Halo Infinite is the most important game Xbox has ever made, not only for the Halo IP itself, but for Xbox period.
Wait,
What do
you think more important than Crackdown 3?
Oh, you're right. No, you're right. You're right.
Crackdown 3, yeah.
is more important. No,
Nah,
seriously.
you know,
I'm just curious what you guys
So
think.
let us know why you think that.
Well, because Halo 5, I think we can all agree, wasn't the best representation of the
Hashtag
Halo
killer.
franchise,
Hot
right?
garbage. Yeah.
We can go back and argue Halo 4. I actually kind of like the campaign. You know, I thought it was okay. I didn't think
5.
Yeah, I didn't think it was terrible. But I think Halo 5 did almost irreparable damage to the IP.
Oh, shit.
And if they've taken 5 years to now come out with Infinite, and let's say it's comparable to Halo 4, or it, God forbid, it's as bad as Halo 5, I think the Halo IP is no longer relevant.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, let me. I'm not quite sure if everything hinges on Halo. There's a lot of people who think Halo's played out anyway. And I think you got me thinking about how it's kind of been on a downward fall as far as its Metacritic, and I don't know as far as its sales, but you know, Halo 4 was not the best Halo. Halo 5 is worse than that, and it makes me think about Gran Turismo on PlayStation, which is the most beloved racing franchise of the past 25 years, and it's also been on a slow downward descent.
Much
and
worse
needs
than
to
Halo,
have a
right? Like the last one was
revitalization.
a 75, and Halo was a 84, I think.
Yeah, so Halo's still high, but the difference is Halo is a massive like tentpole franchise. PlayStation has other things to fall back on that are much bigger, like God of War and Uncharted.
Right,
And also they have the new IPs that are also ready to take off.
I think
Xbox
the
doesn't
biggest-
have that yet. So
I think
I'm not sure if Halo is its hinging point as much, because they have other things. Now, if they show their games at July and they don't excite people or shock and awe them, that's worse than anything if Halo comes out and it's an 84 or it's an 82.
I disagree. I think Halo is a huge franchise here for the brand, and I think this is more of a question of, can 343 actually make Halo their own finally? Because honestly,
Exactly.
I mean, I've been saying this for a while. For me, once Bungie left Halo, I no longer really cared for Halo. It wasn't that great to me, and it's not that I didn't want to see more games coming. It's just that these games 4 and 5 really didn't hit me. I know multiplayer people love it. I don't really play the multiplayer, so I play it for the campaigns. And I just got to say, like, for me, it was all about Bungie and what they did with their story. Now, can 343 actually make it their own? This is the big question here with this new Halo coming out. And if they do and they knock it out of the park, so be it. It's going to be amazing. It'll be awesome. And the franchise can finally move forward. But if they don't knock it out of the park, like I agree with Parris, the franchise is pretty much dead.
It's not dead. I don't think it's dead, but because remember, I mean, even Halo 5
because but it's because of that multiplayer, right? But I'm just saying, when it comes to the campaign,
something's dead if it don't make money, and they lost a bunch of money. Even Venom, that trash ass fucking movie, is gonna get a sequel, and it was horrible.
You gave it an 8 out of 10.
Shut the fuck up, Zachary, you're a liar. So Halo 5 made $400 million in 2 weeks. $400 million. They made a fuck ton of money off of it.
It was still
for
relevant.
One. It is relevant. You'll see Halo Infinite shifting numbers you haven't seen in a long time. And that's just going to be... I mean, hang on a second.
Listen.
When marketing ramps up for this game, trust me, it will.
It needs to already, but go ahead.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like, what's ramping up right now? Nothing. I mean, even Last of Us marketing, fucking trash. Comes out in a couple weeks, right? A week?
Yeah.
When's that game come out?
The 17th.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to playing that. But my point is, Halo will be relevant. It's because of the name alone, but also...
Okay. I agree with that. I agree that they could sell a lot of these Halo Infinite copies. But I'm saying, if this campaign is as bad as 5 or close to it, 343 might as well look to another IP.
I mean,
make something else.
I was getting there, goddammit. I'm saying that Halo will still be relevant, but the most important thing is that they make a good game, right? Halo 5, even Hidden Xperia, when we had him on the show, he was like, no, I didn't like Halo 5. I don't know anybody really that liked Halo 5's story, #KillLocke. So I think really what I'm trying to say here is that Halo Infinite needs to start with Locke on his way to the office, and he flies off the interstate, he spills coffee in his crotch.
I have to say, I think Parris, I think you're right. I think it is one of the most important games that Xbox, if not the most important game Xbox has ever made, minus probably Halo when they first made it for the original Xbox. I think that this, because Phil has talked about, like, he's gotten multiple questions about Halo Infinite, and even before it was called Infinite, right? And
he
he
just
has
puts
said
the run
that,
emoji.
well, and he said, he goes to be honest with you, he goes, Halo is like Halo and Xbox are unanimous, and he's like, if we don't get Halo right, then we don't get Xbox right. Like, that's just, he's like literally has said that.
Yeah,
and that is extremely true. Like, hey, like I know multiple people that play like one Call of Duty, like that's it every year. That's all they play all year is Call of Duty, and then maybe a Battlefield. But they're like, so when's the next Halo? And it's like they're waiting for that. Like this game is a lot bigger than most people want to admit, and they do need to get it right. And like, I think they'll get the multiplayer right, but they do need to get the single player right. They need to make it quality. They need to make it epic, and
it's on a new engine.
I don't know.
Like, people forget that that's part of that 5 years. New engine.
Yeah, and let me be crystal clear. I think the game's going to be amazing. I really do. I think this is why they've taken so long to come out with a sequel to 5, because they know they need to get this right. And kind of like was mentioned before, I think 343 needs to finally put their stamp on this franchise that we own it now. I also think they realize I don't need fucking Luke Cage. I need Master Chief and Cortana. That's what it's about.
They need
That's
plug,
Halo to me.
They need Atriox, and they need to put Cortana in the background in the dumpster. Like, pull it back.
I disagree with you on that one. That I disagree on.
Pull it back, put Cortana in the dumpster, bring in Atriox.
Replace Cortana with Alexa.
No, Cortana and Master Chief, it's always about that.
I mean, they're going to be together.
There.
They even teased that in the damn trailer.
You have to. You have to.
I just didn't like Halo 5 story, and then as Hidden Xperia said, Halo 5 story made Halo 4 story completely pointless, apparently. And all I remember from Halo 4 is running around pushing fucking buttons. Master Chief had an L-shaped finger by the end of the damn game.
Exactly. And that's the thing, man. 343 just really needs to step up and exactly how Parris put it, put their stamp on this game. Finally, make it their own.
Like Halo 5. You're flying down. The coolest moment of the game is when they're flying down the fucking hill and wrecking everything. Sony Santa Monica would have may that playable.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And they would have found a way to make it really cool.
It makes me think about Gears 4 and 5. Because Fonz, as soon as you started speaking, I'm nodding my head like you made some great corrections. I totally agree with you, and Parris as well. That's really good, and it makes me think about Gears 4 and 5. Like Gears 4, they played it safe, and 5 they did a really great job, and then they did scored the same as Gears 4. I'm like, what the crap? It's so weird. I had such a great time playing Gears 5, 10 times more than I did playing Halo 5. Xbox is an uphill battle, and I've said it many times on videos and on social media and stuff. I've said Xbox needs to take a page out of Sony's, where they look at the game and say, "No, not good enough. Make it better. Make it better." But that's a 3-month delay. Make it better. That's a 6-month delay. Make it better. And I feel like Sony's PlayStation games almost always do that. It's so good. Make it better.
And
not
that's
good
why
enough.
Minus all the games they released last year.
I think Parris is right. I think it's their most important game ever, and the reason why I say that is because it's launching a new generation of consoles. The last Halo is universally fucking trash. Okay, the multiplayer, whatever, but the story was trash. They have an opportunity now to showcase what the Xbox Series X is all about. And perfect opportunity with Halo. All eyes are on them. Halo was so fucking huge. CNN used to carry the watches up.
Hey, let's be real. Halo gave Xbox its first identity, real identity in this whole gaming space. Halo, Master Chief, Cortana. This is what put the Microsoft brand, Xbox brand on the map, and they need to do right by that. And I'm excited for Infinite. I want to see more of this whole slip space engine and everything they got going on. I just hope that 343 can nail down a good story and, actually let us play as Master Chief the entire game, please. Like, that's all I ask.
And make the coolest moments playable.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you're looking at a game that will have side missions. So make sure the damn side missions are worth doing and they actually have narrative. Maybe you run into Locke, right? I think there's a rumor going on where you might run into Locke and, there's a side mission with him.
And you can't find his car keys or something?
He can't find any charisma, and you have to find his charisma. And, you just never know. So I'm just saying, like, you're looking at an evolution. Gears needed another 6 to 8 months to add the customization they had in Gears Tactics. That we know that all that's going to come across the Gears 6. It's all in Unreal Engine 4. It scales up to 4K. The customization in Gears Tactics is so cool. And Gears 5 needed that. It needed some more compelling size stuff. But if it would have had those two things, holy shit, like that would have been a 90.
Yeah.
And enemies within that little hub world that you can go out into.
Ice skating locusts, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, like snowmobile driving locusts that were each like we were capturing a lot of that footage when we played Gears 5, and Dealer was on the quote unquote gun that doesn't shoot. And I was steering the skiff. And we just kept thinking, how great would it be like in Borderlands when they come up beside you like Mad Max in the snow and Dealer's like, he's trying to shoot him down.
Like in any other game with a hub world?
Any other game does that.
Again, it's like they didn't have enough time or something. I mean,
yeah, I think so.
But it was a quality game. I think it was the best Gear story. We've been over this a million times.
Did you play that one, Parris?
Loved it.
Of course you
Tell
did.
us your deepest feelings about Gears 5.
Parris, tell us.
No, I did. Yes, I did. I did play.
And what were your thoughts, Parris?
No, I thought it was great. I thought it was good.
Did you cry?
No.
Did you cry?
Did I cry?
I mean, it did actually have some narrative. And I kept thinking, wow, this Xbox doesn't usually have like this serious narrative.
It reminded me of a
where
Sony game, honestly.
It did. And I just finished spending a whole entire year playing through.
How did it remind you of a Sony game you played with a friend?
Yeah.
See what I did there? You see what I did there?
God damn.
See what I did there?
Zucker's always taking shots. Let's get this man some more haters. Come on now.
Hell yeah.
Let's get him
I already have Rand as my number one hater fan.
Yeah, Rand's your number one. Hey, I gotta read out Edward King. Shout out to you, buddy. $10 or £10 British Rock super chat. He says, PS fanboys, let me take shots. PS fanboys on Twitter mad now the Series X has full back compat and saying no one wants to play old games. Hypocritical. Yeah, especially considering they were buying PlayStation Classics, right? And paying for PS Now at the time back in the day. There's plenty of hypocrisy there. He said that when they're begging Sony to add PS1, PS2, and PS3 back compat for the PS5, great logic. Yeah, no matter what, you got to admit that's kind of fucked up. It's really kind of weird logic there to sit there and not want your own purchases to be playable. That blows my mind. We've also got Dead Captain James. He says, Halo revolutionized the FPS genre. Halo needs to be revolutionary again. That's so hard to do, though. I can't even think of a way they could do that. The coolest way I can see Halo coming forward is if they do, hub world type things where you have legitimate deep side missions that Chief can go on that are fully immersive with cutscene and everything, and they're completely optional, and you can go and do all this cool stuff. The only thing that I think can make that kind of stuff revolutionary is to bring the FPS genre more towards a full-on fucking Witcher 3 style narrative when it comes to maybe some of the side stuff that you're doing, 45-minute side missions that you're like, holy shit, like I ran into Atriox in the side mission or the Flood in these 3 side missions that I could have completely missed if they're not part of the main game, right? That's how I think they could bring the first-person genre forward when it comes to campaign, is to integrate some of that CD Projekt Red. But I don't know. CD Projekt Red is doing that with Cyberpunk, right? So we'll see. This is Halo. I'm just talking.
The world, so.
Yeah, thanks so much, though, James. And then we've got Sovereign Kagito. He says 343 and Booty confirm Infinite's game design is based off Xbox Series X capabilities. How would that translate with the crossplay co-op? Now, one of them might be at 30 FPS, even as low as 720p, right? It's all GPU related scaling at this point when it comes to graphics. Game design will obviously work on both. So yeah, I mean, you're just looking at graphical differences. Same as on PC. You can play a game at low and play with some guy on a 2080 Ti $5,000 computer.
And no one cares because it's PC. It's not console. Doesn't have little nursery school rules where everyone has to feel the same.
While I'm on my Elite controller, while I'm in game mode and you're not, and I'm on an OLED and you're not, and I got this and that and you don't. With the headset that you don't, right? Like there's no such thing as parity.
I said that the other day. I had heard this rumor that on the base Xbox One that Halo Infinite runs at 720p at 30. I don't quite believe it, but if the game is bigger, more open world like, man, this footage is kind of cool right now on your screen. If it is more open world, like that'd be crazy. That that would really show people like what held back means. Like a frame rate and visuals that's a big holdback.
Yeah, because the Halo and the next Forza could be the biggest games that the final send off because it's a year, maybe two. What else are they going to release in that time? Maybe Hellblade.
It's the hold back the other direction that people don't think, because they easily want to jump to. I want my game to not be held back by the old hardware. It's like, well, it's kind of the other way around. You're held back if you have the old hardware, and that's really, I think, going to be the most. And I gave that spiel like about an hour ago where I was like kind of fiercely talking about being held back and game design and about how it'll take a little while, but like a high frame rate, big visuals, ray tracing, better physics, and more things on screen because you're on the new hardware. Like that's truly the experience. And if you're on the old hardware, you're held back. It's not the other way around. And I think it may take a while before we see something so groundbreaking that it may be held back because it still has to be on the Xbox One. And by then, I tried to make this point, in 2022, Xbox is going to have those big games ready to go, and Matt Booty's commitment to support the Xbox One will be probably ready out the door by then. It's kind of a moot point, really.
Well, you're going to have so many guys that when Horizon Zero Dawn is showing off at this event or whatever, they're going to be like, well, it looks like this because it's only on the PS5. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It looks phenomenal because it's running on that kind of hardware. But at the end of the day, their games have always looked insane no matter what they're on.
Absolutely. They're the best looking games we've played over the past 5 years, and almost all of them are on the PlayStation.
And that's art design, their custom engines, the time they take to build the games,
less than 2 teraflops on a mechanical hard drive. Uncharted 4 looks better than any game that would be running on a 2080 Ti. Like, as far as that, the way those characters look and the immersive part of the world, that has nothing to do with input output, really. So it's kind of a dumb argument, really.
I like Turtles, and you know what? That's been 2 hours almost.
Shell of safety.
So, shell of safety. And guys, thanks for. Parris, do you have anything you want to wrap up on here, man? You've been in the background chilling. I know we're kind of rambling, but
no, you guys are good, man. I mean, I'm glad I was on here because it's like I have these conversations about what Xbox is trying to do. Even on Gamertag Radio, we argue about it all the time. And obviously, social media is a freaking nightmare because people love to argue the console war stuff. Mm-hmm. But I'll just go back to what I said before. I look at what they started in 2016. To me, that was the start. And they've been building up to this moment with all the services that they're putting in place. Project X Cloud, Game Pass. Obviously the hardware that they're implementing, the 2 SKU approach they're potentially doing, the studio acquisitions, the long-term commitment to Halo. It better be freaking right. But the point is
the free upgrades, the Game Pass.
Yeah. They're gearing up for next gen, and they're not going to repeat the mistakes that they did in 2013. And that's exciting because the one thing everyone, get uproared about the PlayStation 5 event. And my point on it was, I'm excited for both, right? Because competition is great.
Exactly.
They're gonna push each other to greatness. And as gamers, we're the ones that win. The only thing I would say about Xbox is I feel like PlayStation has established this vast exclusive library over the past 7 years. And this is now the time for Xbox to prove it. They're still in prove it mode. So to me, July is very key for them. I need to see the games in July that I want to get excited about. I think they're there, but until we see them, we don't know. But once we do see them, I think it's great. And people should be excited for Xbox.
Let me ask you this.
Well said.
Let me ask you this. Fonz completely does inappropriate things to his microphone. What if Bill Spencer shows up on stage this July? 1, he's got a bowl cut. 2, he starts talking about submarines. What do you do?
Dealer.
What?
Leave Matrick alone. He went to Zynga and now he doesn't work there anymore.
Meet me down at the submarine. We're playing the Switch.
No, it doesn't work there.
I don't know, man. I don't see them doing the same thing either. But chat, let us know what you'd do if you had a bowl cut and he was down in the submarine. Also, let us know your thoughts on the show. Hit the like button. Share us to somebody. Appreciate it. Put it on the forum so they can lie about what we said. And of course, We do appreciate all the support you guys lend to us. You are the reason that we are doing what we're doing, and we do not forget. And if I don't get back to some people, it's because I can't keep up. And also, I'm not on Twitter a ton like Colt. So let's do some outros.
Wow.
He
What a real
said,
jerk.
wow. No, honestly, we got the best panel chat in the universe. We got awesome guests that come on. I was going to bring up when we were talking about Halo, and we had Alana Pierce on here, and we were like, hey, Alana, what do you think about Halo 5? You beat it, right? She's like, no, that game was trash. That's the, oh, God. Like, I really, honestly, nobody really liked that story. I don't know what they were thinking. You played as Locke more than you played as Chief. And, you know, guys, we're only critical, and we only talk about what Sony does good because we want Xbox to get better. And, yeah, we've been doing it this whole time. Nothing's changed. Those of you who've been rocking out with us since day one know that. And we do like to take shots and make jokes because we got to entertain people. That's why you're here. But at the end of the day, we want the best that we can possibly get as people that own all the systems, right? Play 1 or 2 games on a PlayStation, and that's how it's gonna be on PS5. I'll play 1 or 2, but I want Xbox to look at those games. Yeah, right. And look at those games and say, look, we can do better. And they have. I think they have. They got a lot of stuff coming, and the future is a lot brighter than what people think. And I think people are finally catching on to what we've been saying on the show and what Parris and those guys at Game Attack Radio have been talking about as well. The messaging, the movement is different. xCloud unlocks these territories and opportunities, possibilities. The investment in all of these things are just crazy compared to what it was a couple years ago. I just can't wait to see it. And one thing, Xbox, if we do have Xbox employees that listen to the show, guys, show us some mind-blowing graphics when you show this stuff off. Because do the power justice, okay? Because it deserves it. You built a fucking hell of a box. Now let it speak for itself.
No cartoons, please.
Well, let's just block Fonzarelli's IP2, Microsoft, okay? Go ahead and block that. And,
What?
And again...
somebody said, someone, I'm sorry, you know, you're trying to end the show. Someone's like, dear Phil Spencer and Matt Booty, please make a reimagining of Banjo. And I'm like, is there any way we can block this guy's tweets from now on?
Hey,
it's funny.
Hollow Point, shout out to you, buddy, with the super sticker. He says, yeah, thank you. Hey, you. Also, Assassin Lupa, all the channel members, everybody with a green name and a symbol next to your name. Ashtray, shout out to you, buddy. Game Genie, Prime, shout out to you. Some of you guys got that platinum badge. You've been on there for a minute. Shout out to you guys and everybody, no matter the badge color, all of you, William Lanza, and of course, all the moderators, Leave the Pampa, Obi-Wan. Shout out to Gaming Beyond the Box as well. We had to kind of come on Wednesday because yesterday was obviously Blackout Tuesday, and we wanted to show respect to people and kind of follow that trend. So we did show up and do a show, and I think that's what's important, being consistent like that. But yeah, thanks to all the mods. William Lanza, we got D-Word, who became a channel member this show. If you haven't become a channel member, hit that channel member button. We do appreciate it. And again, you guys are the best. We're going to get out of here, do some outros, and links down in the description to Patreon and all that good stuff. 1,600 people still sitting here. Colt, tell these people where they can find you and what have you been playing?
You can find me Colt Eastwood on YouTube and not as much on Twitter anymore. Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I've been playing Minecraft Dungeons and I'm totally pulled back into Red Dead 2. We've got this OLED TV. It looks great. Game is really, really good. It's just a testament of playing a game that's a couple of years old or 3 years old or whatever is really cool. So don't limit yourself. I'm looking forward to when Sony does their event. I want to see what they've been working on. They're going to knock it out of the park. They are focusing on like a really professional, high-end experience presentation instead of like a grassroots stream. I think that's going to be really enjoyable to watch. So yeah, that's me. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
You didn't say hi to Sean, you fuck.
Where's Sean?
Sean LeBree. He now has the power.
A name like that.
He has.
I talk to Sean every 5 minutes.
Do you?
When I'm not on RDX. So hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean. He now has the power of the Blue Wrench. He's a moderator now. So
go ahead and ban me, Sean.
Yeah, ban Colt. He's a fraud. D-Batch,
and
buddy.
Thanks, Parris, for coming on.
Yeah, shout out to Parris. We'll get to him. D-Batch, where can people find you, man? What have you been playing, man?
You can find me on Twitter at D_Batch, of course, at YouTube at D_Batch. I've been playing that Kart Rider, like I talked about earlier, and I'm about to drop it in the chat just about now. As well, I'm playing. I went back to Mortal Kombat 11. I didn't complete the whole game. I don't know. Sometime I just forgot about it, so I went back to complete it because I got the DLC.
Aftermath.
Oh yeah, I've been some Mortal Kombat and Kart Rider, and that code is now in the chat. It was a great show. Thanks for coming on, Parris, and of course the rest of the panel.
Yeah, D-Batch dropping the code in the chat. Also, we've got Fonzarelli.
Xbox.
The what?
The Xbox One, by the way.
It's that code's for the Xbox One.
Oh.
Fonzarelli, where can people find you? And what are you
Yeah, they
playing,
can find me at the Grounded Gamer here on YouTube. I'm back to making some videos again. I've already put out like 3 since last week, so that's pretty good for me. But they could also find me on at jfonzarelli on Twitter. And I've been playing. What have I been playing? You know, I haven't been playing anything as of late because
You played a little bit of Saints Row.
Yeah, well, I played Saints Row the Third, but I had to refund that game because it kept crashing my system over and over and over and over. So I got tired of it. I also wanted to say thanks to the chat. The chat was awesome, and thanks to the legendary Parris for coming to the show, man. I really appreciate him coming. And also to Zocker. Zocker is the only one here on the panel that hates PlayStation. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, all right.
Hey, Zocker. Feel free to rebuttal. And where can people find you? And what have you been playing?
I've been playing The Last of Us on my PS4 Pro. Would you look at that? For a rod.
He's like, I fucking
And you
hate
probably
it. It's
hate
really
it.
boring. He
Honestly,
laughed because it's true.
No, the first like hour and a half of that's like, get this board, get
Told
this
you so.
ladder, put it against the wall. I'm like, cool, this is fucking fun. The beginning scene was awesome. But anyways, yeah, I've been playing that. Obviously, I've been playing a shit ton of Sea of Thieves. I've been enjoying that. And I've been playing Minecraft Dungeons. That game is a lot of fun. Very simple, but a lot of fun. Yeah, you guys can find me on YouTube at Zalker87, Twitter Zalker87, and yeah, Parris, thanks for coming on. Chat, thanks for being here. Everybody, mods, Lethal, everybody, you guys are great. Best chat in the world, and we love doing this every week. You guys make it happen.
Even if it is on a Wednesday this time, but we will be back next Tuesday. Parris,
For good reason. For good reason.
For good reason. Parris, what have you been playing, buddy? And where can people find you?
I have been playing a ton of The Witcher 3.
Oh my god, it's so amazing. Let's talk about that for an hour. Witcher is the best.
Yeah, it's easily my favorite game of this generation.
Really?
But yeah. I've hundreds of hours I put into that game.
It's either that or God of War for me. But yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, God of War's up there too. But yeah, that's mainly what I've been playing. Obviously, just the craziness going on in the world. I mean, there has been a lot of other stuff I've been doing. But I mean, as far as finding me, I mean, you can find me gamertagradio.com podcast that we do. It's on your favorite RSS feed, Spotify. Just search for it. My personal Twitter is at vicious696. I'm usually ranting about something over there. And I started up my own YouTube channel, my own personal channel, slowly but surely growing it. And it's a dumb URL, so I won't try and say it here other than just search my name, Parris, Parris, or go to my Twitter profile. I have all the links to it there.
Yeah, go to his Twitter profile. If you want, you can comment in the chat. I'll mod you. You can link it there, too.
Okay.
But that's
we'll do that.
But let me wait for Parris's comment, and I'll mod him. I like to mod guests and stuff like that, like Yabara and Stillwell and Ricari and who else? A couple other different people we'll have on. And we're like, yeah, okay, it's really cool people. Oh, David 8K and stuff. Well, we'll mod those guys so nobody fucks with them.
Yeah. Feel free to come by anytime, join us, whatever. It's all good, Parris.
Yeah, no. Thank you for the invite. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, I lurk in the chat. Not every week, but I try to make the live show when I can. And you guys do a great job, man. I love all the work that you guys been doing. And I know you're more Xbox focused, but you're fair. Like you're not just kissing Xbox ass on everything they do. You're like, look, this is good. If it's good, you praise it. If it's not, you say it, and that's how it should be.
Yeah,
really. This is gonna be a little awkward. How about you run it by us before you stop by? buddy. Don't listen to phones. Don't come anytime you want. All right?
Hey, Zocker's barely
Yeah,
welcome
yeah.
here himself. Paris, just ignore Zocker, okay?
Yeah, Zocker hates good
Dealer-
games. Okay, he plays
Can
Sea
you
of
run it
Thieves.
by me if you have Zocker on the show next week?
Yeah, he might be there next week. I'll let you know.
I might stop by. Whatever, man.
Zocker's never missed one. He's
Paris,
been
did
here
you
for a
drop
while.
that comment yet? Maybe I missed it.
I put it in the actual chat itself.
In the YouTube chat?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. All right, that's not gonna
A
be easy to
bitch.
find. I'm
It's like
looking.
a needle in a haystack.
No big deal. No big deal.
No, it's
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
chat's flying
Here,
by.
if
Where'd
you
it
want, if
go?
you want to find Paris, go to my Twitter. He's tagged in the RDX post. And if you guys don't follow us on Twitter, do so. You're missing out on a whole nother dimension of me not being on Twitter, and also Colt Eastwood being on Twitter.
Here, I'll DM you the link right now. There you go.
Here we go.
There it is.
Here we go. I gotta subscribe myself.
Yeah.
Here's the link. Check Paris out. Paris gives a foot job to everyone who subscribes.
This is true.
Shit, let me click that.
Yeah.
He said, let me click that. Hey, man, like I said, man, we just, we do what we do. So far, the jokes and the, people show up here because the sense of humor, the chemistry, I think, largely for a lot of these people. And we just say whatever, man. And these executives and stuff still stop by. So we appreciate all that, man. And the chat that supports us, we just can't change. Can't do it. So, thank you guys for what you do. Shout out to the moderators. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you haven't hit the like button, share it out for us. Get the word out there. We are going to iTunes and Spotify and crap. And like I said last show, I've been getting a billion messages about that. I know it's going to take me a little bit to kind of ramp up and do that. But it will do. I'm hearing you. I'm finally caving, and it will get done. And we do appreciate everything you guys do. I've been playing. I've been playing BioShock Infinite, the remaster. It did get ported up to 1440p, etc. And then Minecraft Dungeons, as you see here on the channel now, it's in Game Pass. Give it a whack. And of course, Saints Row the Third here and there. But I'm waiting for that patch to come because I'm not trying to get shut off over and over like Colt is. Colt, that's still kind of a problem, isn't it?
I don't know if it has a patch, but I haven't played it as much the past 2 days. But
Okay.
yeah, it's shut off my Xbox like 5 times.
And
Just
it's
shut it
always when
down.
you're not doing nothing.
Yeah, it's never when everything's exploding. It's always when I'm standing there waiting to do a mission. Yeah, but it's the opposite. I'm like Borderlands 3. They're like when everything gets messed up.
Yeah, I think the Xbox needs a separate noise for when it crashes. But anyways, guys, let us know your thoughts down below. Of course, thank you for what you do. Leave a comment after the show. And, of course, support everyone here, guys. Check out the links down below. Patreon merch, buy a shirt, and subscribe for more. Do appreciate it. We're out.
Later,
Peace.
everybody.
Zocker's a fraud.
Bye.
100%.